Or,
Bring up my topics for tonight. I think we got a couple of half decent ones to kind of bounce through. And if you brought anything that you want to bring up as all, of course, we'll have the personal questions and things.
what was I ranting about the other day, dude? I can't fucking remember.
Oh, we got somebody viewing in the chat, so at least I know we got. Hopefully we'll get a couple of audio cues here, make sure that things are good. Oh, looks like two people in the chat. Spider-Man's first one up. Gareen, second in. There you go. Couple of awesome supporters who are always here. Thank you guys for showing up. Saltiest Gaming is here. What?
Inception.
Wow, how does he do that? All right, guys, before we kind of kick off the episode here, just let me know, Stinking Corpse, what's going on? Give us an audio thing here. Are we good? Are we good to go? Salty, just say something and make sure your audio is bottom.
Hey, what's up? My botting?
Everything sounds good at this point?
Perfect. Sounds good.
All right, perfect. Now that we got some people here, I think we can officially kick this off. Well, guys, ladies, gents, fans, fellow gamers, welcome back. It is Monday. I do apologize that the show couldn't go ahead last week. Something came up and I had other things that took precedence, unfortunately. Hopefully that is behind me now and all is well. So I want to welcome everybody back to another episode of Mixing It Up with Newf, episode 14, and I am super excited and very pleased to have one of the most charismatic and awesome podcasters on my show tonight, and he's also a good friend as well. At least I consider him to be a good friend. I have much love and respect for this guy I'm about to introduce. Many of you who know him as one of the saltiest motherfuckers out there. We have Saltiest Gaming as guest tonight. Salty, how are you, my friend?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Man, it's weird. I got to tell you, man. The podcast realm, I'm in my office, you know, and I got my computer set up, and I got that realm. So it's weird being in the gaming situation and doing this, but this is cool, man. I got my Red Bull. We were talking about that earlier, and I'm ready to go, man.
Well, I like this. I've been getting lots of comments and compliments about doing this whole mixer/podcast kind of thing, and it's been going pretty well. And again, I want to thank everybody for the support. I put it on Twitter earlier, and I can't thank you guys who have been coming out since day one and beyond for your support. It really means a lot to me, and I can't stress that enough. And hopefully, spread the word, guys. Tweet out the links, all that good stuff, because I'm really trying hard to promote my mixer. I want to do more of it, but it's hard to get behind it when it feels like it's a lost cause some days, you know what I mean? So I'm trying my best.
Yes, yep.
I'll take any suggestions you guys got to make it better. I'm planning to have as many guests on as I can. This is not about how the size of your YouTube channel or how many followers you got. This is just about introducing our awesome gaming community to awesome gamers and podcasters who I've had the pleasure of, following and meeting and playing games with, and Salty is one of them. So show your love for him. Make sure you go follow him if you're not already, but I think most of you guys are. But anyway, we're going to kind of play this Far Cry 5. If you guys haven't seen it, we're going to be fucking around with some missions here. We're doing a little co-op. It's a fantastic game, but we're going to get right into the nitty-gritty. We got some great topics on the docket tonight. We'll get into that in just a few moments. But, we got a helicopter something going overhead. But first of all, Salty, let's get into a little background. A lot of people know your channel, they're familiar with you and what you do on Twitter, but a lot of people don't really know you. Like, they don't know what makes you tick or the kind of games that really made you who you are today. So, Salty, take us way back, man, as you're a little kid. What are some of your earliest and fondest gaming memories?
Okay, when I started, it was the first gaming system I ever had the pleasure of playing was at my grandpa's house. Honestly, he had the Atari, and I played Pong. Pong was the first game I ever played. Oh. Interesting enough, it was black and white. So we're talking about way old school. But as far as my first system I ever had, it was the Nintendo, classic Nintendo system.
The NES, right?
The NES, yeah, and then. From there, I went, man, this chick's going to take my spot, dude. I'm going to have to take her out.
Oh, look at that.
So from there, I went, Super Nintendo and then 64. And after that, we did the basic Xbox and then 360, Xbox One, Xbox X. But yeah, man, I mean, the Nintendo was my jam back in the day, honestly.
Yeah,
So,
I think a lot of people are with
uh,
you on that. So as a Nintendo guy, I mean, Pong, there's not much you can say about Pong. You bang the little ball back and forth, and yeah, it was a hell of a lot of fun back in the day. But how about the NES? What was that, like that first game you went, holy shit, like this is really cool kind of thing?
the basic Mario, dude. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
that Mario, the first one on there. There's something about it, you know. I don't know what it was about it specifically, but damn, you know, Mario's a good time. And then I recently got a Switch, and you know, Mario Odyssey is continuing the trend. One of my favorite games of all time is Super Mario 64. That game was just amazing back in the day. To be able to free roam in a Mario game was
Mm-hmm.
pretty fucking awesome, you know. Good shit.
Yo, are we getting shot at by a helicopter or what?
I'm getting shot
Yeah,
from this
well,
kid over
yeah,
here.
and Mario is like, and it really is a good. And I'll tell you how Mario is good because it's one of those games that you can still pick that game up today, and you can still have a blast. Like some games age really bad. Mario is not one of those games. I mean, yeah, graphically you're gonna look at it and go, well, you know, it's the worst looking Mario game ever. But what's going on, GBO Brutal? Grain's picking up Hellblade. We got some Hellblade people in the chat, and that is fantastic because we are going to be talking about that here shortly, guys. Hellblade is coming out. Spider-Man looks like he's probably going to get it. I'm definitely getting it. I just picked it up. How about you, Salty? You picking up Hellblade or going to pass?
See, the thing with Hellblade is honestly, it's not my type of game, honestly, but I
Fair
do
enough.
want to pick it up just for the fact that it's just kind of the thing with new games that I look forward to is them trying new things, and the fact that they're doing this situation with mental illness, and the game looks outstanding. I might, you know, go out of my, you know, safe zones per se, and
Right.
then pick it up, but yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a day one for me, honestly.
Right.
You know.
Fair enough. Well, you know, if you wait a little while, I have a feeling it's probably going to go on sale. It went on sale several times in the run of last year for the PlayStation. I actually picked it up for 20-something dollars on PlayStation, where the other day I got it for like 34. I mean, this is Canadian prices, guys. Don't forget, I'm Canadian, so everything goes up by about an average of $10. But I paid over 30 bucks. So, but we'll get into Hellblade a little bit later on. Let's get back to the gaming. So Mario, big game for you. Obviously, you enjoyed it thoroughly. Still holds up as a classic today. What else sticks out to you, man? Like, what other great gaming memories do you have?
The Nintendo 64 was probably one of my favorite systems because, you know, I'd invite my homies over, and then we do a sleepover and play GoldenEye and stay up all night and, you know, drink soda and all the stuff that's bad for you. And you
Yeah.
know, GoldenEye 64 was, you know, arguably one of my favorite FPS and got me into the FPS genre, honestly.
Yeah.
Because that game, man, playing as Odd Job and, you know, your friends are trying to kill you and you kill you know, it's just fun. Really good memories, man.
Oh, totally. I mean, there's something that's still magical about like your buddies being in front of the TV with you and playing like that split screen, you know. And not many games have split screen anymore. Very few and far between. But yeah, there was something magical about it. I think it was just a camaraderie. It's like we have it now over Xbox Live, but it's still not the same. It's not the same as sitting
Yep.
next to your buddy having a beer, or perhaps if you were kids, it probably wasn't a beer unless you had some really strange parents that let you drink at an early age. But you know what I mean. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna do this mission here. Beer's good. Hey, Lady Foxfire is up in the chat. Grain is hanging out with us here.
Yo, what up,
Lady
Fox?
Foxfire is now hosting the channel. Thanks, Foxy. Always appreciate it. We got Salty's Gaming here with us tonight. Oh, we got a little shit stick here with us. What the fuck is that?
There's another one in there.
Oh, it's a wolf pack or something. But anyway, Siberia, what's happening, brother? Thanks for tuning in, guys. Yeah, so of the old system, Salty, like I don't know, like if you, what would you say then is your all-time favorite? If you, and I'm talking about like, let's go before the 360, because I still consider that sort of kind of too new to be an instant classic. What would you say is your favorite?
I'd have to go with the 64, man. I know not a lot of people got it, you know, but the 64, like I said, man, I played a lot of good games on there. Star Fox, Mario 64, you know, GoldenEye. The list goes on. Banjo-Kazooie.
Where the hell are we going?
What else? These caves are super dark, man. I think we got to go up, if I remember correctly. Yeah, you got to grapple up
There's a
right
hook
here.
up there. Yeah, the N64 is a great system, and like that was where the the multiplayer really started to come into its own. I mean, up until that, you just basically had two-player games, and most of the multiplayer games, like on Genesis and Super Nintendo before that, were pretty much like side scrollers that beat 'em ups and stuff, right? Like Double Dragon and those type of things. So the N64 was definitely like a big step outside of that, that 2D comfort zone. So I like your choice. The only thing I will say with the N64 is that it hasn't aged well. I mean, being one of the first consoles to really take like put it this way, the games that you play on the Super Nintendo are almost still as classic today as they were of yesteryear, right? But
yeah, I get you.
But
so you're saying
N64,
like the 3D look, it just looks kind of horrible now? Yeah.
Well, it's so horrible, and a lot of those games back in the day, they were still experimenting with 3D like controls and the cameras especially. So a lot of those games are like, if you go in on the Rare Replay, right? For example, that's where you can play games like Blast Corps and Conquer and a variety of other Rare, and that's just Rare, right? And you play those, and you're just like, Jesus, like these are not as good as I remember them in the day. Like even Perfect Dark, you're like, everybody revered that game. You play it now, and you're like, this is shit. Shit in comparison to like modern day shooters, I guess. Not necessarily shit. Like, I mean, it's functional, but it's just, But anyway, no, I mean, the N64 still has great classics. I'm going to be interested. How about when the N64 Classic comes out in the fall and we know it's coming? You think you're going to be picking one up, dude?
Honestly, probably not. See, the weird thing about me is I have fond memories of that system, but like you're talking about, it's hard to go back and play them. Plus, like I don't know, I don't see myself going back and playing those. I just kind of like playing newer games. When it comes to Xbox backwards compatibility, for the most part, I play some of the games, but not a lot because the backlog. I have a lot of games in the current backlog. Plus, I have the Switch and stuff like that. But I don't know.
We got some great people hanging up tonight, brother. We got, like I said, Lady Foxfire is here. She's hosting the channel. Punkadish is up in the house. We got our good buddy Irrelevant Native here. So fuck yeah, we got the Je ne sais quoi, the A team rolling in here in the chat, people. Spider-Man's hanging out. Garain is here. Two of my most consistent supporters for sure. We are doing great, my brother. We are chatting games and playing Far Cry 5. It doesn't get much better than that. All we need right now is some titties, and I don't know if we're going to see any in this game. So, yeah, titties and beer, and we're rocking.
You got to put that secret code in, though, right, Newf? And then they take you to that secret room. Oh, we can't talk about that. Sorry. I left that out of the bag.
Oh, there's a secret code? Is it the
I can't talk about
Lara Croft nudie code for pointy tits?
Oh, good. I think
imagine a code for a nude Lara Croft back in the day with her pointy-ass tits.
It was funny, they overlaid her pointy tits on the new, it was like when the movie was coming out.
Yeah. Ace Junkies up in the chat. Yeah, not Hills. Yeah, I know, they even did that. We even had, what's her name, talking about that, what's her name? The actor Alicia Vikander. She was like saying something about, yeah, my boobs aren't as big, but at least they're not. Was it like pointy or something? I don't know. She was saying something about it. That's crazy. No chills.
So how does the loot? How does the loot work in co-op? This is my first time playing. So if I grab this shit, will you get it?
You get it. I get
Anybody
it.
know, chat? You know?
Yeah, pretty sure. Pretty sure we all get it. Guys, this is just a side mission. This is one of the Prepper Stash missions. These are actually quite fun. Basically, if you're not familiar, you get a little riddle throughout the game, and then you find a location, you go to it, and then you see if you can find the stash. There's usually some money. Sometimes it could be a weapon. It's a bunch of different things that are hidden in these like caves, or it could be down in a well or whatever. Relevant Native says he knows you're a fraud. That's about it. Lady Foxfire, she says she's drunk. Are you drunk, Lady Foxfire? I've never seen Foxy drunk. I've never heard her drunk, but that'd be cool.
Hey, that'd be
Foxy
cool,
drunk.
I mean, heck yeah, dude.
Can we fly up out of here? Is this like Airwolf? Can we get up out of the fucking? Because I can't even see where the hell we're going.
Oh shit.
Oh, I think I'm scraping like the fucking roof. What the? I can't. How the hell am I supposed to see where the hell I'm going?
It's funny in this game. For the most part, it's hard to crash these helicopters because like. In other games, if you clip anything, it flips your helicopter sideways. In this one, it's like, hey, grind the sides of a cave like you're grinding a skateboard on a rail, and you're okay.
Coffee. Yes, coffee is good too. So what have you been playing lately, man? Like what kind of games are tickling your fancy?
So right now, like I said, I don't know if you guys heard, but I picked up a Switch. I was debating whether or not to get a PlayStation or a Switch, and
Oh,
ultimately I went with the Switch. There's a lot of games coming out on PlayStation that I wanted to get. Let me just put it this way. So I have a
I'm
5-year-old
stuck.
daughter, and she was the deciding factor. I felt like because she's getting into gaming, she wants to play like, Slime Ranchers and some other like Minecraft, and it's cool to see her, get into gaming. So I was like, hell, let's just get a Switch for her.
Oh,
I want to play some of the games. So, oh shit,
gotcha. Dude, I had to get.
my
I can't even figure out where the fuck we're going in here. Like we're going up, and there's no ceiling in this fucking place.
where am I?
Yeah, I'm
Are we
ready
ab-
to.
are
You're on
we
the
able to
bottom
get up?
again.
Oh, can we
Everybody's
can
laughing.
we grapple out of this bitch? Hold up.
Should be able to go out the same way we came in. This is down at the bottom. When I crashed the helicopter,
So
'cause I
yeah,
couldn't find the fucking hole in the roof.
long story short, I've been playing Zelda. I got Zelda and Mario Odyssey. That Zelda game, man, it's addicting.
You're right,
Let me tell
irrelevant
you.
native. Fucking fraud. Nah,
What
man,
did he say?
happy you got a Switch, man. I got one too. So they're fucking they're fun to have, man. And just being able to take like a AAA experience like on the road is fucking amazing, you know.
Yo,
What is going on?
the weird part for me is the people that get the Switch and don't use it handheld. Like I honestly use it handheld all the time. So I don't know how do you play your Switch? You usually
I
handheld or
most of
docked?
the time right now I'm docked, but I mean obviously the handheld part for me is usually if I'm traveling and stuff. So
Okay. Yeah. The thing that really drew me to the Switch was the ability to take the game on the go. Like I think that's really cool, but I'm a fraud, so what do I know? Where are we, dude?
I'm just gonna travel outside here, the fucking Howling Cave. Get me out of this fucking damn
There
ass
we
cave we're
go.
stuck in here.
The
Driving me
fucking
nuts.
the Bat Cave.
The Bat Cave.
Batman was gonna take us to a secret room. We gotta get the fuck out of there.
Looking forward to the new COD update tomorrow. What's coming down in that? I have no idea. I haven't really been following COD too much. You've been
Like
playing that one at
the
all?
World War II
Yeah, World
one.
War II. You've been playing that much at all? That game? Do you even
Nah,
care for
but
that one?
my game share buddy just got the remaster, the COD remaster. So I'm gonna have to play that because
Gotcha.
it's free. If it's free, I'll take 3. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, I like the game, but I'm kind of like practically done with it. I mean, I'll pick it up from time to time if anybody wants to do a little co-oping and all that shit, but
I think I
I
actually
don't know.
uninstalled the World War II, man, because I'm kind of low on some space. I need to get another um, hard drive or portable hard drive, so I think I uninstalled it actually. What the fuck? They're shooting at us.
What is shooting at us? Something I hate about this game, it's like all the time there's some... Why are you shooting at me, asshole?
I think
Yeah,
I
he's gonna...
accidentally shot that guy.
I
I
was
don't
gonna
think he was an
say.
actual enemy, but he got
No,
pissed, so whatever.
he's one of ours. But anyway, he's eating canvas now.
So what's
Oh, she's fucking
what's
firing
coming
him
out
too.
on the update, Fox or COD? Not a COD fan at all.
All right, cool. So here's the next question for you. So obviously NES, near and dear to your heart, the N64. So you're definitely a big Nintendo guy. Just picked up the Switch.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, we'll get into some more technical questions later on, but let's keep it fun and fresh here. How about if you're on a deserted island, but you could take any 3 games from any platforms with you, maybe what would they be? I know that's a
Oh
really tough
shit,
one because
man.
there's so many, right?
Fuck. I don't. What would I take with me? God damn. Let me think, dude. What about you? First of all, let's ask you, and then I'll come back to mine.
I think
'cause
I've
gotta think
told.
about this shit.
I could have a good number of games. I mean, Gears of War would definitely be, and I'll go with Gears of War Ultimate Edition only because it's the definitive version of the original game, and why would you want to play the inferior version, right? But it would have to be Gears of War. I could definitely take the Tomb Raider reboot. I'm not talking about Rise of the Tomb Raider, because to me personally, it's just that connection that I had with the Tomb Raider reboot from 2013 was just so good. You know, I love that game. After that, I don't know. Like, it could be like I'd want something that you don't really get sick of. So it could be like a Mario Kart game.
Sure, that's the
Mario
tough
Kart
thing,
Deluxe.
dude. You know, like once I play these games, no matter how good they are, I don't know. Like, is there a game that I could go back and play forever? I don't know about that, but honestly, with this generation, I know I'll get shit for it. But I played the shit out of Destiny 1, honestly, and I know it went to shit and it got bad, but Destiny 1 still holds a good place in my heart. As far as an old game, like I said, the GoldenEye game was awesome.
Right.
Mario 64 was one of my favorite games of all time, so probably one of those. But like, could I play them all the time? I don't know, man. Like, that's a hard one. Like, honestly, to go back. Let's see. Trying to think of like an Xbox game. Oh, Knights of the Old Republic. I might keep that game and run through it a million times if I had to, if I was stuck on an island. So that's a good one, right?
Punkadish just beat Rise of the Tomb Raider today. Fucking amazing, Punkadish. You are absolutely correct. That game is still, up to this point, my best game of this generation so far. Rise of the Tomb Raider. Irrelevant says he won't go back to play single player games. You know, and that's the thing. If you're gonna take a single player game, you had to be on a deserted island. It would have to be something that, you know, would have to really be impressive, because I mean, there's only so many times you can play a single player game before you basically explored all avenues. But you know, I think that's why like a Mario Kart game or a Tetris, something that kind of has that infinite life that. Like even Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves is almost a great game for, like, say, an island destination, because it's the kind of game you can play for 5 hours, not play it for a month, and come back and still be like, "Yep, I'm good to go."
So this island would have internet access, and you could play.
Yeah, we're gonna say it's got
how would it work?
Yeah, we're gonna say it's got the necessities anyway.
Okay. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know, man. It's a tough question, but
Yeah, very tough.
I think I go with the ones that, yeah.
Very tough. I mean, because I could have put a number of games. I could have literally put 3 or 4 N64 titles on there. Would have been happy, like Mario 64 or Mario Kart 64, that sort of thing. You know, I could play Donkey Kong Country, for example, till the end of my fucking days, because I love that game.
Dude, Donkey Kong was awesome.
The original game.
Honestly,
and just how,
yeah, man.
I mean, Donkey Kong Country, was there any game in the last 30 years that really had such an impact in the way that game? Because remember, like, the Super Nintendo was almost at the end of its life cycle, and the new consoles were coming out, and then all of a sudden this fucking game shows up out of nowhere. And I remember as a kid, I don't know how old I was, maybe 14 or 15, and this fucking game blew my mind. I was like, holy shit. You know, look at the graphics, and the sound, the fucking soundtrack to that game alone was amazing. And you can play it today, and it's still just as good today when you play it as it was when it came out.
Yeah, Donkey Kong, man, it's one of those titles I forget about, but damn, that thing was super fun. It still is, man. Yeah,
it is.
Something about it.
One of my favorite games on that particular thing. Let's go do a mission here. I don't know what we got. We got another prepper stash up in the mountains here.
What about chat? I'm curious to see how many people actually had the 64. The Nintendo 64. How many of you frauds had it?
How many frauds in the chat had an N64? If you had it, just type 1. Put 1 in the chat if you had it. So Siberia's had it. Garena's had it. That's 2.
Nice. Because I know some people did not pick that system up.
Spider-Man had it.
What else was out around that time? It was
Sega Saturn and PlayStation 1. PlayStation and Sega Saturn.
Right.
Sega Saturn came out in '95, and the N64 came out later in '96.
Hey, funny story is I actually gave my 64 to my brother for some reason when I took a break from gaming for a little bit, and then he pawned it off. So I wish I still had mine, Siberia, man. That's cool that you have yours.
Cool. He still got it with Conker, man. Conker's like that game. If you went into a store
really
and tried to buy it. It was a good game, and it's also expensive. Like, if you went into a store, it's like worth, like, I think there are like stores here charging like $160. Some almost as much as $200 for that game.
Yeah, the classic. There's a lot of collectors, believe it or not, for old cartridges and stuff. So cool. What the fuck is this?
I don't know.
Dead wolf right here. Okay.
I'm gonna take Peaches with us on our next mission here. Actually, you know what? Let's get the sniper girl, because she can pick off people. Let's get her. Let's go. We're going to hunt down the drug boats and Eden's Gate drug trucks.
With this one, it doesn't really tell you where they are, though, right? You have to just wander around for them.
Yeah, you kind of got to. Yeah, you kind of got to find. I got to go into the shop though and find some fucking ammo. There is a shop here, right? Or no?
Let me look.
64.
Nah,
Yeah,
we
64
probably...
was amazing, and I was a big Sega fan, but I still love. Oh, big fucking moose.
If we go to Drubman Marina, they have a place to buy shit.
Sega wants a con. I don't think that would be a good move. As much as a lot of us have fond memories of Sega, I'm not quite sure they'd be able to do anything. The only way Sega would make a comeback is they'd have to have a really impressive piece of hardware, and they'd have to bring out some big fucking titles like day one. You know what I mean? Like, they'd have to have a killer ass lineup that people are like, holy shit, you know? Not just like remasters or stuff. They'd need some new ass shit. So.
Yeah, when that rumor came out about Sega, the Sega acquisition, I was like, why though? You know, like I don't know. That's
Sega,
weird to me.
Sega would be better off with like a Dreamcast classic or something like that. That's what they need, like a Dreamcast with like 100 games built in or some shit. Like, they can make money on those things all day long, right? Because people still have the nostalgia. But as far as a new console, like I think Atari's new one's gonna get its fucking ass handed to him again. It's overpriced, and it's just a fucking system that hooks up to the TV, and you download a bunch of like, God only knows what. It's probably a bunch of shitty ass like cheap Steam games or some crap. Like, it's just, I don't know. Like, I don't think it's gonna do very well, but that's just me. Anyway, you gotta go find a vehicle and get the fuck out of here.
Do you have a mission that will? This one is kind of like you wander around and kill shit. Do you have one that would actually give us a location to go to?
Yeah, a little more on point. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go do a couple of these. The
Drubman Marina, if you want to fast travel there, you can pick up some ammo there. It's like north of where we're at.
Bring the plants to Tweak. Oh, we got to go to Tweak and fix a mission here. All right, so let's go get us. Is there a friggin' vehicle up here? All right, so yeah, that's kind of. How about let's go into some one of the segments of the show as well, man. I feel like I'm rusty at this right now because I haven't done this for a little bit. But one of the segments as well, I like to ask some loosey-goosey questions, like stuff that's not necessarily game-related. Like, dude, like, first of all,
would you rather?
You know, how old are you? I mean, first of all, maybe people out there wondering, like, how old is Saltiest Gaming? Are you up in the old farts category like most of us? Or are you still young whipper?
Yeah,
I consider a young whippersnapper less than 30.
I just turned 70, believe it or not. It's crazy.
No, you sounded pretty good for 70. Staying away from the Niagara truck.
Doing good for 70, bro. What the f?
Nice.
Nah, I'm early 30s, man. So I'm an old fart, man.
All right, so you're middle of the road, but yeah, I mean, some of us are really old. I'm 41. There's people out there even older than me. So Siberia, 420 years old. Spider-Man's laughing.
420 years old. What if I was 70? God damn.
Now, is there either console out there right now you don't own that you'd like to have, or what's a console you've ever bought?
PlayStation for sure.
You'd like to have a PlayStation? Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, man. It's just, you know, there's only so much money in the pockets, and you know, you gotta.
Absolutely.
I'll get a PlayStation eventually, but maybe from Craigslist, or you know, I'll go on the corner of the street and sell myself some shit. But I'll get it. What else? What were you saying? What was the other question?
Well, obviously that's a great question, and you said PlayStation, and you know, obviously too, like, you know, money is one thing, and then it's to finding time to fit them all in, right?
Oh yeah, man, that's another problem. God damn.
I gotta find out where the hell we're going here. We gotta go the other side of the map. I'm just putting a waypoint here, so at least I know where to drive, so we don't go down in the bushes somewhere. Here we go. At least we're not Sobsky. He's only 19. The grass on his field is still green, eh?
Oh God.
Right on. I was gonna ask you some questions, like, what kind of music are you into, man? What sort of music gets your jive going when you're not playing games?
I honestly listen to like everything. You know, from rock to hip hop. I like hip hop a lot, honestly. Growing up, listened to a lot of that. But I would say one genre I like over the other. Like, whatever's good and I like it, you know. Like Freaky Friday's a song I like right now. It's out, and that's a hip hop song. But in the same, you know, right, I like Imagine Dragons and some other shit. So it's just whatever sounds good to me, I'll put on the radio, you know.
Right.
I'll put some
Do you,
Slipknot on when I go to the gym. You
okay,
know,
so
like I don't, like I
yeah,
do
you're into a
whatever,
lot of
dude.
things. You got a pretty diverse collection. You just whatever hits
Yeah.
you at the
Oh.
time. Well, what about say
Hmm.
your all-time go-to band then, or your band or artist, like somebody that you can't live without their music in your life.
Yo, Biggie. Yeah, Biggie Smalls. I
Biggie
like.
Smalls.
I can listen to him. Yeah. His music really hits home, and it's just chill, man. I like Biggie a lot. I feel like I could listen to him, pretty much all day if I wanted to. Uh, in my opinion, he's one of the best rappers of all time. But
Right.
R.I.P. died early. But yeah, Biggie
Yeah, it
Smalls is
seems like a
good.
lot of the good ones did go early. It seems like that way with rock and
Yes, sir.
roll too. Like Kurt Cobain gone way
Yep.
before his time. That's pretty
Hmm.
awesome. We're all old farts, says Alan Savage. What's going on, Alan? Thanks for showing up, brother. How about movies, man? You got a top three? Any particular movie is your number one?
Shit, man. The original Jurassic Park was really good. Uh, I really
That was a
loved that
classic,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, when you go into genres, like as far as, if you're talking about horror movies
Right.
or the Halloween series, I really dig those for horror movies, like
Okay.
in a whole, like total. Those scare
Right.
the shit out of me. What else? Like an action movie, I liked
They wouldn't
Face
scare the
Off. I
shit
don't
out
know
of
if
you
you.
now, though, right?
What's up?
Like if you were to watch a Halloween movie now, you're probably laughing at them, like you're like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
they
those
scared me back
the
in the
newer
day,
the
but
newer ones. Yeah,
right.
yeah, the newer ones are weird. The thing that gave me like fucking reoccurring nightmares as a kid is it was the made for TV It movie. That shit fucked me up as a kid, man. For some reason, it's something about the weird clown, like the
Right.
clowns are just creepy as fuck. But action movies, I really loved the Face Off action movie. It came out in the
That's a good one,
90s.
yeah. John Travolta and Nicolas
Yeah,
Cage. That was a pretty
yeah,
good movie.
yeah.
One of their
So
better
and
ones,
then
and the two of those guys, their careers went downhill shortly after that.
yeah, they did. Um, but as far as a superhero movie, what would be my favorite? The Batman trilogy, The
Okay, the
Dark
Dark
Knight
Knight
probably
ones.
would be my
Yeah.
favorite. Yeah.
Eric the Red, thanks for the follow, brother. Appreciate you stopping by, checking out the stream. Hope you enjoy it. Always good. We're here with Saltiest Gaming. This is episode 14. I'm mixing it up with Newf. We're just shooting the breeze, playing some games. Going to get into some heavy gaming topics here in just a few minutes, guys. So hold on to your pantyhose
Yeah, but
and don't go nowhere. Go ahead.
honestly, I'm one of the biggest Star Wars nerds around. So when it comes to movies, like all-time favorite movie would be, the first Star Wars movie ever. A New Hope.
Right.
It has something. It's something special about that movie, man. So yeah, that'd be my favorite of all time if I had to pick one.
Right. Well, it's how those movies as well, how they stacked up and how they led the technological trend for decades after they came out, and they're still good today. Whereas a lot of
Yeah.
movies that tried to pull off sci-fi in the early 80s and 70s are like cheesy as fuck. Like, you know what I mean? Like you look at some things like even like the old Star Trek show, right? Like, I mean, you love it for what it is, but you watch it now today and it's still enjoyable, but you can see how cheesy it was for its time, right? It might have been ahead of its time,
Yeah.
but you look
Yeah.
at how
Yeah.
you look at how Star Wars really elevated itself over Star Trek, you know what I mean, with its movies. And yeah, I love The New Hope. Return of the Jedi is still one of my favorites, but
Yeah,
trying to deserve
Empire
more
Strikes
followers.
Back. I think Empire Strike Back is probably the favorite of a lot of people. But A New Hope, there's something about that movie, man. It's crazy. Are we supposed to be punching people into the fire here?
Yeah, I think we got
I remember
take the
this one.
Furious Homopathic here.
Yeah.
Which one is the fucking Furious? Oh, here we go. Kick Angel
Yeah,
body
you gotta
into the
punch
pits.
You could kick them into the fire. I didn't do this originally, so like if you punch them and they don't go in there, oh, I gotta take the stuff. Hold up. You gotta take the whatever med that is.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't know what's happening here. We gotta like knock these fucking body.
You gotta
dudes
consume-
into the...
Consume the shit and then punch them in the fucking fire. You can kick them in too.
There's another fire.
All right, I kicked one in.
Oh, did they go in? Did they go in? I got one.
If they don't go in, kick them in.
You gotta wait. Jago Kukin, what is going on? Oh, I think we're punching them in the wrong
All right.
directions here.
This mission is funny as fuck, dude. Yeah, if they don't go in, I'm gonna kick them in. I'll kick them in. There we go.
Do that? How do you kick them in?
Push the right toggle.
Oh.
What the f? You're picking them up? Okay.
There you go. I just dump them in. Yeah, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Against Saltiest Gaming here. Yeah, we're going to get right into some gaming topics here right away. Good movies, though, man. Yeah, I love the Dark Knight trilogy. They're freaking fantastic. Star Wars is good, so no wonder we get along with each other. Got a lot of good taste. Got a lot of good taste.
I'm actually hyped for that Han Solo movie. I know a lot of people aren't, but I'm really excited. I don't know if you saw the new trailer for that movie, but it looks really cool. It's like a Western take on a Star Wars movie, and then there's going to be some heist elements. Man, it should be a good time.
Yeah, it should be a good time indeed. So, guys, all right. So, anybody have any quick questions you want to toss at Salty right now? Some like lighthearted questions, like I don't know if I asked you, but who's your Marvel or DC? First of all, go with that one, and that one can always stir the pot. Marvel or DC?
Hey, what would your guess be? Honestly, what would your guess be for me?
You seem more like
Chat,
a Marvel
what's your
guy
guess?
to me.
What's your guess? Okay. Chat, what's your guess, man? Marvel or DC? What am I? DC like a fraud.
Steve Nichols is Marvel. Lady Fox is Marvel. Relevant Native DC like a fraud. Are you
hey,
watching
I'm
the
Marvel.
chat too?
I'm Marvel. Yeah, I'm
okay.
watching them here.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, I'm a Marvel guy. I'm a Marvel guy.
Okay. Who's your
I'm
favorite Marvel in
too.
the Marvel series? X-Men?
See, so you've got the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and then we'll talk about that. And then you have Marvel in general. But the X-Men hold a good, special place in my heart. I watched that cartoon back in the day. I don't know if you guys watched it. I'm sure a lot of you did, with the awesome intro and all the X-Men together. Wolverine has to be one of my favorite Marvel characters ever. The dude's a fucking boss. So he'd probably be one of my favorite characters. But the Marvel Cinematic Universe, people ask me, they're like, "Oh, who's your favorite character?" I have to say Iron Man, honestly. Like, the dude's a fucking boss, man. So I can't wait till Infinity War. I actually got my tickets. Chat, do you guys got your tickets for Infinity War yet, or are you still holding off on that? I'm gonna go see Infinity War on Friday the 27th, so I'll be sure to spoil it for you guys that aren't seeing it.
Yeah, it says Lady Fox has got her ticket. I haven't got one yet, but I'm probably going to see it on opening weekend. Last movie I went to see in theater was Tomb Raider, which I personally thought was actually quite good. I thought it was well done. Some people didn't like it, and that's to each their own, but honest to God, if you compare it to the old movies, there is no comparison. Like, I loved Angelina Jolie. I think as Angelina Jolie, to me, like, as far as representing the character, the way she looked and stuff like that, I thought she was amazing. But this Lara Croft and the way these movies are made are so much better, you know what I mean? So, but that's just my take. But yes, I'm more of a DC guy myself, because I've always been, as a kid, I was really big on Spider-Man, but he was pretty much the only guy that I really liked in the Marvel universe for the most part. Spider-Man and Hulk are probably my two favorite from Marvel, and in DC, I really like, obviously, Batman over the last 10 years, and Batman and Superman. I mean, I know they're the two biggest, heroes that they pretty much have in that stable, but to me, I just love those two guys. I think they're fantastic. And Deadpool's awesome. Yeah, Spider-Man's a Spawn. I love Spawn, but that was who did that comic book? That was a different one. What wasn't Dark Horse? Was
yeah,
Dark
it's
Horse
not
comics.
Yeah, it was I don't remember what they're called. Chad, you guys know?
Dark Horse.
Dark Horse.
Dark Horse Comics, obviously done by Todd McFarlane. That movie, I think that movie that came out years ago for Spawn would have been so much better today than it was back then. It was okay back then, but it was too cheesy. Special effects hadn't come far enough. But if they remade that today, it'd be badass. But then of course that means
aren't
another
they?
Actor.
Isn't that movie, and they're planning on making it, and they're gonna go hard R with it? I heard something like that, so that should be cool.
Could be. Yeah, they kind of watered it down a lot, too, for the kids, I think, back in that day.
Yep.
So, let's go get us another mission here. Let's go. Guy Marvel. Speaking of Marvel, let's go see Guy Marvel. Let's do this. Let's go do this fucking mission, whatever it is. Are you in the truck?
Yeah, nothing like a good hard R movie, right?
Irrelevant. I hope you're just kidding around. Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider is the GOAT. Oh my god. I hope that's a fucking joke, dude.
Hey, they needed to make a new Ghost Rider with the dude
Oh,
from
God.
The Walking Dead. What's his name? The guy that's always on the motorcycle.
Yeah.
I think that'd
Ghost
be good.
Rider is a hell of a cool character, but fucking Nicolas Cage is seriously. I think he's one of the worst fucking actors on the planet. Jesus.
Norman Reedus. Yeah, he is.
Norman
dude.
Reedus,
It's
yeah.
comical to go back to watch Nick Cage's movies. He's like a walking meme. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my god. Can you believe he almost did Superman at one point, but they canceled it? I even seen the test photo.
Yeah.
I even saw the test photo of him with the fucking suit on. I was like, oh my god, really?
Yeah, it looked like a bad joke, right? April Fool's joke or something.
Man.
But, yeah.
I'll tell you what movie they need to make now. Another one. They need to make Kick-Ass 3 because the fucking first two are wicked.
Oh yeah.
But of course, mind you, what's her name is
dope.
kind of growing up now. She's not much of a hit girl. She's more like a hit woman now.
Mm-hmm.
But those movies were great. Grain like the Flash, because when he fucks up, it fucks up the whole universe. Well, yeah, that's kind of like a sex life. If you're a Flash in the bed, you kind of fuck up the whole universe too, Grain. Relevant wants a new Watchmen movie. Rorschach was fucking badass. Just he was pretty cool.
Yeah, the reason why Native liked the Watchmen movie is for that big giant blue dong,
blue guy.
right?
Oh yeah, the big guy with the blue dick hanging out all the time. Smurf man.
Oh god.
The blue weenie. All right, we're gonna
The
get into some
blue
topics.
weenie.
We have 41 minutes in. We haven't even gotten into the topics, but hey, that's how this stuff goes. We're just shooting the breeze, having a good time, which is what Mixer and video gaming is all about. Let's get into some good topics here, guys. And one of them we kind of touched on earlier just a little bit. Hellblade is out in 2 days, maybe less than that now. What's your thoughts on it, Salty? And do you honestly think Xbox players will support it? And most importantly, do you think they should get behind it?
Okay, Hellblade. I think it's an amazing game, honestly. Salty is gifting me Hellblade. Good, yeah, good one, Irrelevant. Honestly, I think it's a really good game for the platform, and I think any platform is lucky to have a game like this. I think it's cool when game developers go outside the box and try things that haven't been really necessarily done. I think this game focuses on mental illnesses and the way to, it's integrated throughout the game. You hear voices in your headset. They say specifically that you should play with the headset so you can hear the voices, and it's more inclusive when you're playing the game. A game hasn't really been done like this to my knowledge, and I think it's cool that mental illness is addressed in a video game. I just think it's something that hasn't been done before, and that's what I look for in new IPs and new games, is they start doing stuff that you haven't seen in video games. That's what I want to try out. We've been playing the same old shit for since the Atari came out. Let's try something new. So, like I said before, it's not necessarily my type of game, but I want to try it. I want to try to go outside my comfort zone, per se, when it comes to videos, and expand my horizons. So, I think I'll eventually pick it up. But as far as Xbox fans supporting the game, I think they will, man. I think a lot of people have been excited for this game based off of social media and listening to what they've been saying. So I think it will sell just as well as it did on the PlayStation. Honestly, like, what did it sell? 500,000 copies or something like that? 600,000? I don't know. Chat, maybe
Yo,
but
guys,
I think
look at
they'll
this Easter
support
egg.
it.
Look at this little Easter egg right here
What
on the
is
wall.
this?
Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. Look, it's a poster.
Oh, sick, dude.
And you
It's
can even hear
making
the music.
it's making the music. Yeah. What are
Yeah, that's awesome. What the fuck are we doing here anyway? I don't even know what the mission is. We're supposed to like get up in
What
the
are
towers and
we
do something
doing?
here? They're making a
Where's
movie
the
of some
thing,
sorts, but I don't know what we're supposed to do here.
talk to this guy?
Yeah, I talked to him already, but I don't know what the hell we're supposed to do. We don't have no waypoint.
Did
That's
you?
the hardest thing
finish
with co-op in a
the
game while you're doing Mixer. It's fucking you don't see what you're doing half the time. Yeah, I mean, guys, just to touch on that, I mean, Hellblade was definitely a modest success. It definitely made a return on its investment, according to Ninja Theory. 500,000 certainly nothing to really shake your head at for a game that, really came out with very little fanfare overall. It was kind of like, hey, here's Hellblade, go buy it. It wasn't like it was published to shits, or, it didn't come out on disc, first of all, so it wasn't available in store. I didn't see big ad campaigns. Most of the promotion came from fans or from the reviews, right? So I think after a year, I think it stands a chance to actually have a bigger audience on Xbox, only because it's had a year now to kind of get some hype behind it. And people are like, well, we hear this game is really good. What's all the hype about? I've got my copy picked up. I bought it for PlayStation. I'm buying it again. I'm double dipping on a fucking game. And a part of the reason I want to double dip is, one, because I want to see the best version available on the Xbox One X, which it will be. And the other side of the coin is I want to show people out there who've been bitching about Xbox fans, because a lot of us have bitched that we don't get enough single player narrative driven games. So here we go. We finally get a game that many of us have wanted to try for a long time and play. So I want to support the dev and show them, look, these games can't have a very successful life on the Xbox. It's not just PlayStation that everything's popular on, and that's kind of why I buy it. So for a couple of different reasons, and it is an amazing game, guys. So if you've never played Hellblade and you got some money to spare right now, or you can get somebody to gift it to you, pick it up. It's 10% off, I think, if you buy it up until today. That otherwise, I think it goes back to full price. 10% is not like a lot, but hey, it's still a discount, right? So anytime you can save a couple of bucks, it's all good, right?
Look at this paper on the wall. It's talking about Miss Marvel. If you read this right here. Like, sorry, Miss Marvel, we denied your something, and it's talking about radioactivity. It's crazy. It's funny.
What's going on, Cobra V? What's going on, Rook37? Thanks for joining into the stream. Got Saltiest Gaming here with us, episode 14, mixing it up with Newf. What is the gameplay like? Somebody's asked me. The gameplay is amazing. It's very tight. It's very fluid. It does get a little repetitive. You don't fight a ton of enemy types in the game, but some of the boss battles are really cool. And but I think the combat is very secondary in that game. I think it's more about what she goes through on her journey through the start till the finish, how the psychosis really plays a factor in the game. I think that's really what it is. But you will definitely enjoy it. It feels very heavy. Like the sword play is really cool. The counter system is good. So overall, it's a very solid game. Go ahead, Salty. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yo, honestly, the reason why I think the game's going to do good on the Xbox is because the Xbox One X exists on the platform. Plus, Xbox doesn't have any games, so this is a game for people to pick up. And no, I'm just kidding. But honestly, it's going to look really good. The visuals are outstanding, and isn't it supposed to be true 4K? Or
yes, it
like
is.
That, something close
as far as
to
I know,
it.
yes.
Yeah.
There is a performance mode at 60 frames, or you can go for the visual mode.
Hey, do you want to just like walk around in the forest and shit and see what we find? Fucking, I don't know what we're supposed to do.
I don't even know either here. Thanks for the follow, Rook. Greatly appreciated. Yeah, I don't know. Let me just
that passive aggressive shade.
Let me just pull up the.
Whatever, dude.
Let me just see what the mission actually says here. Yeah, I don't know. But he's like shooting a movie, but he doesn't say anything, doesn't do anything. So I don't know what the fuck we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, we can just walk around and see what happens.
We'll come back to that. So there you go, guys. If like I said, take it from Salt. It's not necessarily his kind of game. It's something that floats his boat, but he's probably willing to give it a try and encourages other people to do so. Like I said, you don't know if you don't try, and it's not an overly expensive game, so it's not like you're out fucking $80 or $90 if you don't like it. Too bad it didn't come out on disc though, because at least you could trade it in, and it's not on Game Pass for people asking. It may come to Game Pass in the future, but for now it is just only digital only. So let's get into the next topic, and this one's been kind of causing a bit of a stir, kind of a good stir. Spyro, yes, remember the little blue dragon from yesteryear? He is coming back as a remake. The first three titles, which I do believe got their life on PlayStation, are going to be available here in the summer on Xbox One and PlayStation 4. A lot of PlayStation fans were thinking this was going to be another exclusive held off of the Xbox in the same way that Crash was, but apparently not. It's getting a day-and-date release. What do you think about that? Were you a big fan of Spyro, Salty? And what do you think about the game coming out now?
I actually did a video on my channel about this, and it got some good traction. Surprisingly enough, I have not played Spyro. It's a PlayStation game. I did not have a PlayStation at all. I haven't owned one yet. So, but as far as the game goes, I think that a lot of people are excited for Spyro. I mean, based off of my social media, and you know the people I follow, there's a lot of people that are super excited for this game, and rightly so. It looks pretty fantastic, and honestly, I'm probably gonna pick it up for the Xbox One X, you know, and let my daughter play it myself. I think a lot of people are super hyped for it. Shout out to Nintendo Fury. He made a video today because he's
Yeah.
salty that Spyro hasn't been announced for Nintendo, and
Right.
he's wondering why. You know, he's super salty
Yeah.
about it. But and then I got a lot of trolls in my comment section that were salty that it's coming to the Xbox because this isn't the first time. You know, you got Crash Bandicoot, and now you got Spyro, and you know Hellblade, and some other
Right.
shit. So
Well, I mean,
it's a good
I
thing,
don't
man.
necessarily blame you if you're a Switch owner, and also the only reason I say that because when you look at these platforming games, if there's any company, I mean, that they literally feel like they're made for it, it's the Switch, right? I mean, given the nature of
Yep.
Nintendo and the kind of console that it is, you know, it is a perfect game, and something tells me it will come out for the Switch. I feel that it definitely will. I mean, it's being published by who's publishing Spyro? Is it Activision?
Nah, I forgot the company. It's
Not
some other. It's some
505.
other. Because originally it was. God, I can't think of it. The people that are doing Spider-Man right now, Insomniac, right? They made
Right.
the game and then they're passing over the duties to some other dev team, you know, to do the enhancements. So
Okay.
not sure what the
Yeah.
name of them
Eric says
are
a lot
though.
of Switch
Offhand.
guys are upset Spyro's not coming out for it, and I understand, but I think it will come out here pretty soon. So it's just you know, hang tight. I mean, obviously it was a long wait for fucking super long wait for fucking Hellblade and stuff to come to Xbox too, and for Crash, but they're coming, right? So, you know, just going
Yep.
back to that though, by the way, with the Hellblade thing, I wanted to ask you this when we brought up the topic. Do you think Sony paid to keep it off the Xbox, or do you think it was just a developer focusing in on the most popular platform and all that stuff? What do you think happened there?
Honestly, I think it just comes down to install base with these, you know, smaller development teams. They gotta bet on the best bet, right? Like so,
Right.
they didn't have a lot of money to put into the development of the game. It looks like it's a AAA title based off the way it looked, but they actually didn't spend a lot of money on the game, and plus there's no physical release for that reason. I think they just went with PlayStation just because it was a better bet, I guess, to make their return on their investment. I don't know if Sony was like, hey, if you put it on our platform only, maybe we'll
Right.
sweeten the pot, you know?
Yeah.
That possibly is the case because
I'd hate to say
you
it, but
know.
I don't put anything past Sony because they like.
Oh yeah,
We've
for
seen
sure.
how aggressive they've been with fucking marketing deals. Where Microsoft has dropped the ball on them, they seem like they're just like, hey, if we can keep it off of Xbox for a while, let's go for it. I mean, just you know, I mean, this whole Spider-Man thing that's been causing a stir. I mean, I totally get it. Some fans are like irate about it. The funny thing is, I mean, it is a superhero that, I mean, you know, when you think about a superhero, you think they would be available for any platform that wants to have it. But, I mean, it's obviously you know, Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man. I don't know what, if it's the game rights or the movie rights or what. But, I mean, obviously they had their foot in the door first and obviously put money into that particular title to have it as an exclusive. And it will be a huge PlayStation seller in the fall. There's no question. So they were very smart. It's not
Yeah.
coming to Xbox ever, guys, so don't get your panties up. This is not one of those Hellblade scenarios. I mean, it's Insomniac, and I know they're not owned by Sony, but again, that's just the nature of the deal that they signed. It is exclusive to PlayStation, and it kind of sucks for Xbox fans, but hey, that's how Sony is making sure that PlayStation stays ahead of the game and ends up selling a lot of PlayStation 4 consoles come September, October again, and it will do exactly just that. So Spyro, yes, Spyro's coming out, guys. It is a cool thing if you're a Spyro fan. I never got into the franchise, but nonetheless, having options, having extra games, having another platformer, a well-respected and known platformer, is good for, well, whatever console that you own, unless it's a Switch right now. Let's get into the next topic, guys. Duval's Finest, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Appreciate you stopping by and checking out the stream. Let's get into our next one here. Sam Fisher is back. Well, he's kind of back. Apparently, he's going to be a DLC coming up here in Ghost Recon at least. And there are lots of rumors been circling for a while that Splinter Cell may be coming back, and it's possible we could see it at E3 this year. So first of all, let's talk about that DLC content. And do you think Splinter Cell is coming back? And most importantly, if it comes back, do you think Xbox may sign some kind of marketing agreement to have Sam Fisher on Xbox for exclusivity?
I don't know, man. There's been rumors and rumors about this situation, and then it's coming out as an add-on. As far as we know, I think there's a good chance this is gonna be coming out as a full game, and there's a lot of people that want that to be true. As an Xbox exclusive, I don't know, man. Honestly, I don't see that happening. To
Right.
be honest, but I do think there could be
Marketing deal?
marketing deal, or timed exclusive, some kind of a time thing there, and I think that would be okay for the brand. But I don't see like full exclusive rights. What do you
Right.
think, man?
Yeah, marketing, exclusive to Xbox, no, but it could be a marketing deal where Xbox shows it off on their stage and perhaps, get some DLC early or something like that. But overall, I think you're right. I don't think it's going to be exclusive. I don't know if Ubisoft wants to leave that much money on the table, and I think Xbox would have to pay a crazy amount for it to keep it that way. I mean, Microsoft's got the money to spend, but based on what we've heard from Phil, it doesn't seem like he really enjoys doing that, like basically keeping games and stuff off other platforms. I think he wants Xbox to stand on its own 2 feet. So, while it has potential, no, I agree with you. Maybe a marketing deal, but nothing more.
Do you think Splinter Cell would even be a big enough title to warrant spending that much money to make it an exclusive? Like, is Splinter Cell that title that you would want to spend that much money? Is my question. If you're Microsoft, I don't know. I don't know.
That's great. Irrelevant Native says yes. Punkin is obviously loving Splinter Cell as well.
Oh
That's
God,
a great
they're
question,
Splinter
Salty.
Cell fanboys, though, right?
Yeah, well, and that's just it. That's just it. Like Splinter Cell, like even Splinter Cell or even Metal Gear Solid, I don't know if those titles. See, the thing is, every generation, right? We got the hardcore people that grew up on it, right? That will definitely buy the game. Just like Halo. Like Halo comes out now. Who do you think Halo speaks more volumes to? When a Halo comes out, who do you think are the ones who get excited about it? Do you think it's the 13-year-old kids now, or do you think it's the fucking 35-year-olds that grew up on the series? And this is the thing. With every generation of console, sort of the popular game today is not necessarily the popular games of tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? Call of Duty is one of the very few anomalies that has that brand recognition where as soon as you say Call of Duty, it doesn't matter if it's World War, or if it's Future War, or if it's modern day. Call of Duty, like, it just automatically gets that hype and that attention. But again, that's the anomaly. There's not many games out there that have that Call of Duty factor. Right now, you could say it's Minecraft, Fortnite's kind of got that thing going on, PUBG. Some of these games are a bit of phenomenons, but you look at how many games come out and actually have that sort of success, and they're not many. Like, there are probably like 4 or 5 games per every 500 games that come out that have that kind of success. So you have to keep that in mind, right? Splinter Cell needs to have a really big game. It would have to look phenomenal. It would have to play phenomenal. Because Splinter Cell has been one of those franchises too. Not like, see, Uncharted. The Uncharted games have constantly gotten better, right? So they have this pedigree. But Splinter Cell's kind of had this up and down relationship where one game seems to be good, the next game is kind of fucking bad. None of them have been bad, but you know what I'm saying, right? SML 909, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. But you know what I'm saying, right? Like, certain franchises can carry over because of their pedigree, and Splinter Cell is like the be-all end-all to some people, but for the majority, it's like, well, what is Splinter Cell? And the longer it stays away, the less relevant it becomes, because people start to forget, right? Out of sight, out of mind. So
why
like
has it
says,
been
no one's asking for
gone
Splinter Cell,
so
right?
long? Like, why has it been gone so long if it's such a good title? Pumpkin Native. That's the real question. Honestly, I myself, and this is a preference thing, I'm not all about the stealthy games, man. Like, in Assassin's Creed Origin, when stealth is an option, I go in there fucking guns blazing,
Yeah.
I'm just not big into stealthy games. I could see the people that enjoy those games, but that's the question that I posed to the chat is, if Splinter Cell's so good, why has it been gone for so long? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's got to be a reason there. But we shall see. That'll probably get some people salty.
Same reason Ghost
Same
Recon
reason
was. Same
Ghost
reason
Recon.
Rainbow Six. Evolution with tech is one reason. Is finding studios to build it. That's part of the reason. I think as well, like, Ubisoft didn't want to also fall into the trap of being the company that makes Splinter Cell, Rainbow Six, and Ghost Recon. So like they went out with and got the Division, right? And the Division, for all intents and purposes, whether you hate it or not, the Division's been a very successful title for Ubisoft. This is actually. Division was their biggest selling title in years. This is actually the second biggest Ubisoft game since the Division to sell as many copies. So the Division is still huge, regardless if you love it or hate it. So that's part of it. I think they just wanted to take a break from the series because that series was good, but it's never been like an elite series per se. Like Spider-Man said, not everybody was asking for it. So, and the other thing, Two Bears, what's going on, man? Appreciate it. I mean, I'm excited for Splinter Cell. I'd love to see the franchise. I'm a big fan. I love Splinter Cell way more than I like Metal Gear Solid. But that's just me, right? And again, it's franchise. It's the same thing with Sunset Overdrive. It'd be great to have a Sunset Overdrive, but the problem is not enough people bought the original to really to convince Microsoft we should put more money in Insomniac's pocket to get a sequel. And that is the bottom line. That's what happened. If people don't speak up and say, we really want this game, and you can say you want it, but you got to do it with your wallet. That's what speaks. It don't matter about 100,000 fans that are like, we want Sunset Overdrive. They're not going to fucking build that for 100,000 people. They want to build it when they know they've got $1.5 million to $2 million off the hop, and then they go, yeah, we're on to a hit franchise here. Very funny, that's how it goes.
It's crazy. Speaking of Insomniac, it's crazy to me, like with that game, Sunset Overdrive, how many similarities it's going to be sharing with the Spider-Man game.
Yeah.
And how unsuccessful the previous Spider-Man games were, and how popular this new one is.
We might have a problem with the audio. Is the audio here? Because relevancy and what the fuck happened to the audio. Hello, can you guys hear us?
You guys can hear us. Push 1.
Please. Okay.
It's just.
Okay, maybe
it's irrelevant native,
Good.
man. He's still in the internet from Home Depot next door. So,
okay. Now you got to stop using those dollar store headphones, man.
Dollar store headphones. Got him.
It's the mixer. Yeah, sometimes you just got to refresh the mixer, close the app, and come back in. Sometimes that works. Yeah. So anyway, I think there's a Splinter Cell coming, and that's where I'll leave it. I don't know if you have anything else you want to add on that, but I mean, if it comes, it's going to be a success. It's just the question is how big of a success. Is it a system seller? I don't know, but it's a welcome franchise to Xbox and PlayStation. I know there's lots of fans that would love to have it back. And if Michael Ironside comes back, that's a bonus. Apparently, he is voicing the character in the Ghost Recon DLC, so that's a good sign in the right direction that they've got him back on board, and hopefully we get the Sam Fisher of old. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Let's just get past this truck here first. They're trying to fucking shoot us here. Here, I'll just stop on the side of the road, just trying to figure this out. We're gonna go kill an outpost here. That's gonna be fun. You can keep shooting away. Oh, someone just pushed us across the road. All right, let's get into the next topic. Spider-Man. You just brought that up, so great segue. Excuse me, into this topic. Spider-Man has got its release date finally, September the 7th. For those of you guys who don't know, it is exclusive to the PlayStation 4 platform. It has fans going crazy, some for the good, some for the bad. We've seen lots of people posting videos online talking about how Xbox fans are all fucking nuts and about this. And I just want to say something before you get into your speech on this and your thoughts. I just want to say, no, it's not Xbox fans going fucking nuts, people. It's like a handful of fans that are they're uninformed, they're fucking being stupid, and we're all sort of being put into that kettle with them. It's like, well, Xbox fans are crying because we don't have Spider-Man. Like, bullshit. I mean, I'd love the game to be on Xbox. Who the fuck wouldn't? But I know the logistics of it. It's a money deal. It's just a business deal that's signed for the PlayStation to make sure that people buy PlayStation in the fall. And what better way to do it than do it with one of the most popular superheroes on the fucking planet? The name alone sells the game, even if the game was absolute horseshit. That Spider-Man's gonna sell millions of fucking PlayStations in September month, and that is a fact. You can take that to the bank, and Sony's going to take it to the bank, and that's why they did it. That's why they were smart. They got one of the best devs in the business, the dev that obviously is passionate about the property, and they don't have to tie it in with a fucking movie license for a change. They can build a game the way they want to build it without having to worry about story discrepancies, etc., right? So you know what? It's not coming out. So the thing is, you can shut up or go buy a PlayStation, because that is the way it is. I mean, sorry, but that's how it is. And you know, some people get it, some people don't. But what's your take on it, man? I mean, obviously, there's good and bad sides to both. Give us your take. Yo, Salt.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
hello,
it just went
hello?
quiet for a second there.
Okay.
Yo.
Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, they can hear you.
Okay, cool. All right, so like I said, Insomniac as a dev, they put a lot of those things that it's going to be coming in this new Spider-Man game. It was in Sunset Overdrive, and it wasn't well received. And then them as a developer, they haven't been real popular. But this game, it looks like they're hitting it out of the park, right? They look like they were the perfect developer to do this game. It's interesting to see like these fanboys put out these petitions to get these games on other platforms. It doesn't make sense to me, you know? Like, as far as a business deal goes, it doesn't make sense for PlayStation to put this on other platforms, you know? I don't know the ins and outs of like the specifics of like how it all works out with like, you know, because they have a deal with Marvel in place with Spider-Man, and they're able to do this game with like a completely different Peter Parker, a different suit, a different storyline, and I think that's cool, man. But it's weird to me that like there's a lot of people complaining about it from the Xbox side. It's just like, you know, it's not coming to Xbox, and you got to get over it, you know. So
that's it, man. That's it. Yeah, that's all there is to it, guys. It sucks, but it is what it is. It's again, it's all marketing. It's all business. You know.
Yeah, because in the end, you know, Sony does own the rights to Spider-Man. You know, I don't know how the game rights work or the movie rights or how that was hashed out with Marvel, so I'm not going to say specifically that I know that. But like, if you look at it from a business perspective, it makes sense for Sony to keep that on their platform specifically, right? I mean, they own Spider-Man, so it is what it is, man.
It is what it is, but it's a good game. You know, if you happen to own a PlayStation already, then you're in the money, and if not, you might have to consider getting one if you really want the game that bad. You know, but it's like anything. Like, PlayStation fans have wanted Cuphead, and I'd hate to break it to you guys, but Cuphead is not coming ever to PlayStation. It was basically financed and funded through Microsoft. They were the ones who took the initiative to back that company and back that product. So it is not coming to fucking PlayStation. If you want to play Cuphead, you need to have an Xbox or you need to have a PC. It is that simple. No ifs, ands, or buts.
So are you more excited for God of War or Spider-Man, Newf?
Be honest, I'm more excited for God of War, because Spider-Man to me, like, I mean, the property's cool, but I don't know, at the end of the day, it's just, I think there's God of War just looks fresh, you know, compared to where the franchise has been in the past. And he's a badass character, you know what I mean? Like, that's just me. I'm really excited about God of War. I mean, they're both exciting properties. They're like must-have kind of games, and that's the cool thing that I like. You know what I mean? Now, this is something that I've said this year, and this is kind of sad, is that, you know, I'm looking at all the releases that we know about in 2018, and most of the ones I'm excited for happen to be on my PlayStation. You know, I wish I could say that the majority of them were on Xbox, but that hasn't been the case. I hope that changes, after E3, and that I can say that in 2019, my top 10 games to get are like majority on fucking Xbox. At least I hope that's the way it is. But I guess we're just gonna have to hold on to our fucking jock straps until June and find out if Microsoft's got some stuff in store for us, or if they're gonna hit us with a bomb of disappointment. So it could go either way. I got a good feeling, like, you know, deep down inside of me, you know, deep down to my anus, I have a feeling that Phil Spencer and company do have, deep down to my anus, man, I have a feeling that they have some big announcements coming this year. I think it's been too long. They know what's at stake here if Xbox doesn't finish strong going into next gen. They've got to have the lineup, because that's it, right? At this point in time, it's not about, you know, beating PlayStation in numbers by the time they bring out the next Xbox. The thing is now is to finish strong. Is to show their fans that they're dedicated to hardware, that they can give you the product that you want, and they can back it up with the games that you want as well. And that means not only having the Gears, Forza, and Halo, which are their three primary franchises, but to bring the new IPs and all that shit too, right? So, that's not a feeling, Newf. Irrelevant said that's a dick. No, there's no dicks in my ass, my friend. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. All right, let's move on to the next one. Spider-Man's, you know, it's going to swing on the PlayStation. It's all good. We'll talk about that more in the future. Let's talk into PlayStation VR, because that's been a hot topic ever since its release, man.
Oh, yeah.
I have one. I don't know if you've got one, but I mean, I love my VR. I really do. I can't say enough good about it. And I know it's not the best VR on the market, but it's still fun, and I'm enjoying mine. But what's your take, Salty, on VR? I mean, there's a big price drop. It looks like it's a permanent one this time, not just like a 1-month deal. So is it a little too late for Sony? And what do you think of VR overall? And what do you think they need to do to finish strong with the VR?
I've said my take on this before. I feel like the PSVR is pretty niche at this point. I think the technology is just not up to snuff when it comes to being a mainstream thing. A lot of that problem is due to the fact that the gaming experiences just aren't the same, or not even close to the same when it comes to when you're playing VR as opposed to playing a game like, let's say, on the Switch or the Xbox or the PlayStation. Right now, if you look at the sales figures, they're around 2 million plus sold out of 80 million install base, and that's pretty ho-hum when it comes to a peripheral that Sony is pushing very hard. Like, if you look at their E3, they spent like 15 minutes on PlayStation VR, and they've done that at multiple conferences. So it's interesting for me to see the comparison, and I made the comparison with the Kinect, and it's a peripheral that was touted by Microsoft. It was pushed hard, and it took away resources to develop games for. And I think it's a fair comparison in the sense that it's a peripheral, and not in the sense that VR is comparable to the Kinect technology, but the fact that it's a peripheral and it was ahead of its time per se. So like when they decided to push it, it wasn't necessarily ready technology-wise. I don't know. I think it's good for a minority of gamers, but I don't see it hitting mainstream in the foreseeable future, if that makes sense.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, like I said, I think the first problem they had out of the gate was the same reason that anything is slow out of the gate or slow selling, and that was price. I mean, obviously, walking into a store, and I'll use the Canadian prices, for example, when PlayStation VR came out, the PS4 here in Canada was still just under $500, right? Then to go out and get the PlayStation VR, especially if you had to buy the kit, with the fucking dildo sticks and the game and everything packed in. I'll call them dildo sticks because that's what Supersonic always calls them. What's going on, Logros Benz or Mr. Clement? Thanks for stopping by, checking out the stream. But I mean, here in Canada, just to get those two things together, right? You need one. You can't have one without the other. You're looking at over $1,000 investment. And the thing is, with any new peripheral or even any new console, when it comes to market, you have to have a game or games that really show off what the technology is all about and what it can do. And that's the same reason that Kinect never sold. Kinect was always, one, overpriced, and two, it never did have a definitive game that said, this is why you need to have a Kinect. It became an accessory that was used primarily for people to use voice chat and to capture some video, and then that's what it became. It became just almost an unnecessary or kind of a useless accessory for the most part. It was never ended up being like a complementary games peripheral. And PlayStation VR obviously is way ahead of the Kinect in every sense of the word. It's not even close. I mean, it's an actual legitimate, almost a console in itself. You know what I mean? Yeah, don't forget the dancing games, Blake says, Two Bears. And that's right, lots of dancing games, lots of like finicky shit games, right? The Kinect was basically Microsoft's attempt at capturing some of the money from the Nintendo market when they, struck gold with the Wii. That's all it was. If the Wii was never successful, we wouldn't have even seen a Kinect, I don't think. We would have it probably wouldn't have existed, but they wanted to get that market. But the PlayStation VR, the price drop is good. That's the first thing. You can never say no to a good price drop, and it's a pretty hefty drop. But is it a little too late? Like I said, we're almost on the cusp of a new generation. PlayStation VR is finally getting a drop, and like you said, for an install base that's over 70 million and to not even be at 5 or 6 million in terms of units sold is pretty low. And you can't sell software if you don't sell the units, and that's where the money is at, is selling software. And it's a big investment for companies to take, right? Like if you look at a party that's making a game for the PSVR, they're like, how much do we want to invest? Do we want to get the studio and the resources to make a AAA experience when we're not even sure we can sell this game? That at the end of the day, we might be lucky to get 200,000 copies and we won't even get a return on investment. And I think that's where they stand right now. You know what I mean? Is they don't know. It's a big gamble, right? And of course, we're so close to a next generation that all of a sudden, PlayStation VR starts to sell now. But then what if Sony brings out a new console and decides, hey, we're going to bring out a new version of the PlayStation VR, a much better one? Then where do you stand, right? You know what I mean? And I think that's where a lot of people are. You either want it or you don't.
One of my main issues with VR, it's hard to show the public that, like, when you're doing these displays at these conferences, like when I watched the PSVR games that they had to display, like the Final Fantasy fishing, it just looked like dog shit, dude. It doesn't translate over to people that are watching it in a non-VR space. And I don't know how they can overcome that, because when I see you doing a display or something at a conference and you're spending 15 minutes on it, and VR doesn't translate, it makes me not want to get the product even more. It doesn't make me want to get the product. And the quality of games that are going out there, like when I was watching, like Skyrim, the way that you have to move in that game, it's like a dash forward. The movement system feels weird. It doesn't feel like right to me. I don't know how to explain it.
Why do you even have that?
Weird.
Why didn't they just use a controller like you would normally use a controller? I don't get it why they went with that. Hey, point, click, and then move. Like, it just seems too jerky. And I know a lot of it's got to do with tracking and stuff, and maybe not.
And the way your body, your body has to do certain things to get sick. But like, literally, you're dashing forward. It's not like a movement that is natural or feels right, and that's what it kind of takes me out of the game experience when I'm moving like that. It doesn't make sense to me. But also, it's like the type of games. Like, we're not getting big AAA experiences like day and date. Like, when you're getting, like, let's say, I don't know, Doom that comes out like the day of or whatever, and the full Doom experience, or, even this game, Far Cry 5, like, that's not coming to VR, when it releases. So it's just, I feel like the technology's not there, and it's bulky, and you have all these wires that get hooked up. I feel like VR is at least 5 years from being, 10 years probably from being mainstream, in my opinion, if it ever is. So I don't know. PlayStation's pushing it, and they felt like it was, the future of gaming, because obviously they're pushing that peripheral. And from the PlayStation 5 rumors, apparently, if this is true, or I don't know if it's not, because there was a rumor that was going to be coming out late 2018. So I don't really believe that. But they're saying they're going to bake in the technology into the hardware. I don't know. So they might be
chat here. Like
Okay,
Logos
okay.
Brens brings up a good point. Like Resident Evil has sort of been one of the showcase titles for PSVR so far, and while that's fine and dandy, the kind of embarrassing point is the fact that that game was never really built from the ground up for VR. It was kind of an add on to it, and it's pretty like sad to know when a game is not even built for it is still your best demonstration of what VR can do. I think that's kind of sad. I think one of the best ones I played so far was Farpoint, especially with the PlayStation, what do you call it, the PSVR aim controller. It's absolutely phenomenal, and if you have a VR, I suggest you try that out. It's fantastic. DJ Sai is back. He's wondering how to get his sound to work on Mixer. I can hear, but my friends can't. Can you help?
Try to refresh, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, refresh. Moss is another one. Siberia just said Moss I hear is really good. So there are some good games out there, but the thing is, there's like no game that's like so far, maybe with the exception of and Resident Evil is a great game. But the problem with Resident Evil is one of those games that like still has a hard time being a massive success because of the type of game that it is, right? It's a horror survival game, and most people don't like. I don't know, like VR is creepy as fuck when it comes to like those kind of games are really creepy in VR. You know what I mean? So like I think that game has a limited audience only because of the type of genre it is in. But like say it was a VR Spider-Man game, or it was a VR Uncharted game or something like that. You know what I mean? Like I think it would definitely have a broader audience. But I mean, overall, I mean, price dictates where products go, and the second thing you need to do is have the software that. Let's throw a grenade or something. Can we blow this up? Watch out! I'll throw a grenade. Oh, just knocked that girl right back. But yeah. But anyway, PSVR. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's better late than never. But at the same time, I hope that it does well. I mean, for me personally, because I mean, I've invested in it, but the thing is, Sony can't give up on it. The biggest thing is Sony can't give up on it because the surest way to kill it is basically to give up on it. And they did that with the PlayStation Vita when they backed out of the Vita market. Fucking what? 2 years in, and they basically said we're not going to do it. That was killer for Vita, man. That was the worst thing.
I don't know. As a gamer on the outside looking in, honestly, like people don't, you're invested in the ecosystem, so I can see why you want them to continue with the VR. But honestly, like I said before, it's a timing thing. Like the technology isn't there, in my opinion. That's my opinion.
Well,
and Sony's gonna have to devote resources into this technology since they've invested in it. And then in future conferences, you're going to be getting 15 minutes, 20 minutes of VR displays when you could be getting other shit. I don't know necessarily if I want that, like I don't know if I want PlayStation devoting the resources. Like they're killing it when it comes to games, don't get me wrong. Like I guess they have those resources to spare, but at the same time, I don't want to see them make the same mistake that Microsoft did. Because they were invested in the Kinect and they actually continued support with the Kinect past time that they should have. I think the Kinect should have died a long time before it actually did, right? So, I don't know, man. I mean,
here's
these
the mistake.
Companies invest, they invest in these hardware. Let me
tell you. Here's the thing that Microsoft should have done with Kinect. Okay, some people say they made the right move by taking Kinect out of the box, right, and reducing the price. And yes, to some degree, I can't necessarily disagree. But if I was running the company, I wouldn't have took it out of the box. I'd have kept it packed in. I would have just made it free for everybody, and I would have made it mandatory because if the peripheral itself would have been mass adopted by people, eventually they would have got studios on board that would have been like they would have took the time and made the risks to make software that could have worked really well with it. And I think we would have seen a different story. The problem is when your competitor's $100 cheaper and you're adding a peripheral that not necessarily everybody wanted, nobody's going to complain about it if you're giving it to them basically at no extra cost. And I know Microsoft would have took a hit on it, right? I know they would have. But in the long run, after maybe say the first year or so, they would have made a shit ton more on software sales, and they probably would have actually had some fucking really good software to complement Kinect by that time. But they weren't willing to take the risk. And then they took it out of the box, and as soon as it came out of the box, it was great for the consumer, yeah, because they started saving $100. The problem was it was not good for the frip roll, and it wasn't good for companies that were invested in that infrastructure, and that's the bottom line, right? Spider-Man loved the Kinect.
Yeah,
I like the Kinect too.
The Kinect was cool, man. It took up too much resources, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at the beginning of the generation, they were pushing the Kinect, and I think Rise was actually a title that was supposed to be used like as Kinect controls, and then they ditched that shit, and then the game actually suffered from that because it was being developed for the Kinect, and they're like, oh shit, let's switch it to regular controls. So,
well, here's the one too.
I don't know, man.
This is how misinformation by the media also fucked over Kinect. Logos brings up in the chat. He says, except people that didn't want to control the console with it and said the NSA spied on us. I think that did a lot of damage too, was all that bullshit fucking stuff. Oh, it's going to spy on you. And people got freaked out and paranoid. And that wasn't the case at all. Yeah, but we know how the public is easily manipulated now, and they'll believe just about fucking anything, and that's screwed over the Xbox. Just the way that fucking shitty media screwed over Quantum Break before the fucking game even came out in the stores. It was already doomed to fail. You know, like the fucking people have a hard-on for hating Microsoft. I'm sorry, but it's true, and they screw over these products before they even come out.
Just look at all the technology and products that use the same aspects of the Kinect, like the voice controls, like the Amazon device. Hell, your phones have microphones that listen to you all the time. All this shit, man. And it, like I said before, it was ahead of its time, and it got hate because of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily, it's not necessarily what you bring out. It's when you bring it out. It's timing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Microsoft has learned that they can't be first to the market with anything anymore because they always get ridiculed. Anybody can copy them, like Apple decided to copy Kinect with all their fucking their voice features like a year later. You know, oh, you say the voice stuff, and it was basically a Kinect. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even Sony's copied Kinect now. Sony has I have a Sony PlayStation, and PlayStation Eye actually does the same shit now that Kinect basically did. You can sign in using your voice. You can, all that shit, and it's like, oh, but when Microsoft did it, it was a bad thing. But everybody else is like, oh, well, that's genius. You guys are fucking genius. It drives me nuts.
I think the analytic people at Microsoft are super smart. You know what I'm saying? Like, they look at trends and they look at like Game Pass, for example, like that. They're looking at trends and they're trying to predict like the way the market goes. And with the Kinect, they were just, I swear to God, they were ahead of their time. Like, they saw what the technology could be, and they developed it, but they were just too fucking early, dude. And then like with the DRM and digital fucking games and stuff like that, when that came out, that was too early, dude. Everybody's digital now, and if it would have came out, like those policies would have came out today, people probably wouldn't fucking bat an eye because everybody's digital. I'm 100% digital, but back then, I don't even know if I owned digital games when the Xbox came out. So that's the problem. So,
anybody who's complaining about Xbox, and anybody who complains about Xbox and the DRM, okay, if they complained about it in the past, I want you to look at your games collection, especially if you have physical copies, and look at the games that actually say require internet connection to use. Well, that's fucking DRM right there without saying DRM, because that's what it is. You have to have an account. It has to be online. It needs to activate for updates. Everything is DRM. Technically, and I have to admit, even the discs themselves, while I'm still a physical guy, I'm not stupid. They're still DRM because at the end of the day, they don't do nothing. Once they're in my console, they don't spin anymore. They're just a way for the console to recognize that I have bought the game and I have it on a disc, but that's all it does. The only benefit of a disc now is a little bit faster installs, but outside of that, there's really not much advantage, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like I'm saving my fucking my disc drive because it doesn't spin anyway. Right?
Yeah.
But it is what it is. And like Timodos says, right? Like, here we are with people complaining about Xbox and the fucking Kinect, and everybody has a cell phone in their hand taking pictures every day on the internet all the time, and all these accounts and all these passwords, and Facebook has everything with fucking like all your privacy and shit. And then you got everybody now buying these Googles and Amazon things that basically are doing just that, spying on you and finding out what your fucking commercial marketing trends are.
Yeah, just ask Mark Zuckerberg if he knows about spying on people and taking their information. So
Hey, Salty,
it
let's
is
let's
what
go
it
for a
is, man.
fish. Let's get at our fishing rod. See who can get the biggest fish here.
All right, let me get some ammo real quick first.
Yeah, go live in a cave.
Where
You're
you
worried
at?
about being spied. Well, exactly, SML. Like, you might as well live in a fucking cave, like, because I mean, obviously there's things they can and cannot do. But you're right. Like, almost every product we buy now that has some sort of a sign in is exactly that. It's. Oh, why did I shoot that guy? That's one of our people. I just killed him.
Oh shit!
I think I just brought our own people down on us. Oh, what the fuck is going on? Oh, he just blew up. What the hell? Yeah, fishing is great.
I used my grenade launcher, dude.
Yeah.
So, hey, why do when we stand on the dock, I get like high off this drug shit?
Oh yeah, because we're
What's going
standing
on here?
next
Let's
to.
get a boat.
Hurry over here. Look, there's like
Let's
a
get a
fucking thing
boat.
in the water. Yeah, right. Well, let's get
get a
this
boat. Fuck
boat
it.
right here. Look, because there's something in the water. This must have threw the shit downstream. 360 RES. But anyway, guys, it is what it is. But anyway, PSVR, we're done with that topic. It is what it is. It's either gonna fizzle out, and we'll wait. I mean, I think it's here to stay. But I mean, as far as where PlayStation VR, how successful it's going to be, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I think Microsoft will bring one out eventually. Like and Salty said, the technology is just not there to run it effectively. I think the Xbox One X is definitely a step in the right direction, but I still think we're probably maybe the next gen of consoles or the gen after that before we really start to see the tech start to live up to its potential. So, yeah, let's get in. You can drive if you want. I'll get on the guns. All right, let's get into
shit up on the river.
I guess that's the end, I think, Salty, of my topic. So I just wanted to know if you had anything
What
you
the
wanted to add. Do you have any topics you'd like to share
What?
tonight?
Hold up.
Oh,
What is
fuck.
going on with this boat? Do you hear it?
Yeah. Hang on.
What? We might need to get a new one because that shit's annoying. Hold up.
Okay, hang on. Let me try driving and see what
It's making some weird ass noise. Drive it.
because
Sounds like a 808 speakers going off, like with some techno music, dude. What the?
that lady is in the fucking driver's seat. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. She took over in the driver's seat. What the hell? I'm getting out. Hey, we gotta. Hey, let's get on the Sea-Doo and go. There you go.
Yeah, we can pull a dumb
look,
and dumber.
the motorcycle, 6,900. All right, let's get on this fucking thing and go. Oh, look, she's dead now. What
Dumb
the
and
fuck is
dumber
going on?
situation
Oh,
right here. Let's
there's
go.
there's another one right there.
Try not to shoot you. There we
You're
go.
gonna get your own.
I'll
We'll just
take
drive
this
down.
one.
We'll just drive
Yeah.
downstream. Here, I'll go get that girl. I'll go help the poor thing. She's just sitting there, face down in the water. You better resuscitate her. There you go. There you go, chica. Now don't steal my fucking.
Every now and
machine.
again, you gotta blow up your own NPCs, okay?
Yeah, every now and then. All right.
Gotta
So
punch
any
him in the back of the head.
topics that you wanted to talk about? Maybe something that's on your mind this week that you haven't talked about tonight.
What was I ranting about? The exclusives over the generation for
Right.
Microsoft and how everybody's losing their fucking mind. I don't get it, dude. Like I understand it's been pretty dry the last couple of years. But like in the beginning of the generation, you look at like Rise and Sunset Overdrive and Quantum Break. The Xbox fans didn't support those games, you know. So it's been a tough go, but it's weird to me to see social media, to see how many Xbox fans are just coming out and saying, hey, you know, I'm done with the Xbox brand. I'm going to PlayStation. I've been with Xbox for so many years, and I'm done. You know, and I was having this conversation with my buddies, Native and who else was in the party? Shameless, maybe. We're talking about the exclusives for the generation, and you know, to be honest, just from an outside looking in, it's been rough, man. Like, what banger has Xbox had? You know.
Well, I think Xbox really
new IP wise. You know?
I think they really need a game as well that
We can
not
fish
only
here.
sells well, but I think they need a game that really they need a game that really gets a lot of critical accolades because they haven't had a lot of them. I mean, their biggest the biggest game they have on the Xbox that's sort of done well from a critical standpoint. Hey, Grey Coco, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it, my friend. But I think one of the games they need a game that really sets the world on fire. You know what I mean? Like it gets critical acclaim. You know what I mean? And like Devolve says, fine. Yeah, they've had one kind of bad year, and you're just as dumb if you think that Sony is going to have every year is going to be a fucking winner for them. Because you know what? On the PlayStation 3, they had a couple slow years. On PlayStation 4, they started out kind of slow. I mean, every company goes through those phases. Somebody said that the other day in a podcast. They're like, every company has their phase. It's just the nature of where the games go. I mean, in a perfect world, the developers want a game to come out, 2 or 3 years after they start playing. But as we've obviously seen, that always isn't the case. I mean, a lot of games slip. Like, you look at the games this year, State of Decay 2, Crackdown 3, and Sea of Thieves were all supposed to be at, a year or two ago? You know what I mean? So, this is what I'm saying. Like delays happen, whether you like it or not, and sometimes it's just the nature. But Microsoft at some point they're going to come hard and heavy with the games, and then they might catch Sony with their pants down, and Sony all of a sudden hits a dry spell. I mean, at some point Sony's going to run into a year where all of a sudden they don't have all their big games, because like God of War is coming out now. But we're not likely to see another God of War after this one until perhaps the next generation of consoles. Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly, and it wouldn't be in the beginning of the generation either.
Exactly.
It's just I don't know. I've been on social media for a while. In the gaming community, I've been on social media for about a year, and I haven't really seen this kind of outcry from people on social media saying, "Hey, I'm done with the brand. I'm switching to PlayStation." Yeah. It's weird to me, Yeah. I guess to each their own. I guess everybody has their breaking points per se when it comes to the brand, but I would say wait to E3. I know that's the term that Xbox people get made fun of a lot for. Hey, wait till E3, guys. Wait till E3. But honestly, I think E3 is going to be huge for Microsoft. So I don't know, man.
I think
it's
it will
interesting.
Be huge as well. And why would you give up on the brand? Because games will come eventually. And do not all of us here in the chat, and likewise, do we not have backlogs that are already fucking 50 games fucking deep? And we're complaining about, we don't have a game to play? Like, give me a break. And if you got multiple systems, well, okay, I take a break from my Xbox for a month or two. Guess what? I got a shitload of stuff on my Switch. I got a shitload of stuff on my PlayStation 4. So if you're a multiple system owner, you shouldn't be complaining at all, because one way or the other, you've always got something to play. And even if you got an Xbox, there should be enough shit to play now regardless. I mean, unless you're plowing through games like every fucking day, and you literally live in a mom's basement with no life and yanking in games like crazy. Like, I don't know. Like, everybody I talk to is like, man, I can't even find the time to play the games I got. When I hear delays now in games, I'm like, oh, thank Jesus. Thank God I get a break. And my wallet gets a break. Exactly, Garain. Exactly. You can't even play everything that we got now. We got more games in this generation than we've had ever in the history of games. Between the arcade games, the back-compatible titles I still haven't finished. There's games on the 360 I haven't even finished yet, and we're complaining. It's just, like, it's ridiculous. And giving up on the console, if you love something, you don't give up on it. Whether that's your kids, your wife, or a fucking game console, if you love it, stick by it, support it. It's simple. They will bring it. You know what I mean? It will come out. And like I told somebody the other day, I wouldn't trade Gears of War for every fucking exclusive on the PlayStation. Not one. I wouldn't trade Gears of War, because that's just me. That's my favorite franchise, and I will always have an Xbox, because Xbox is the only place to play Gears of War. It's that simple. I'm not going to play it on PC. Don't even start with that conversation, because I fucking hate PCs. I'll never buy a PC to game on. That's my thoughts. So for me, it's Xbox or nothing.
So I was having this conversation with my buddies in the party yesterday. I was like, what would get you to switch completely over to PlayStation? Like, because I'm an Xbox gamer. I've said this to people. Now I have the Switch, but I'm still an Xbox gamer because I've been in the ecosystem, and I prefer the social aspects that Microsoft delivers, like party system, achievements. You're in the ecosystem so long. It's like, what would PlayStation have to do to get you to switch over completely? Mm-hmm. And I told the native that they would have to have multiplayer focused games, and have that kind of a market. But I don't think that they'll ever do that. I don't see them switching the way that they do business for the most part. because they have a method that works, right? The single player games and all that good stuff. I think it's good that both companies take,
Yeah,
separate
exactly.
approaches to the way that they do their business. I think it's good for gaming, man. I don't want both companies to do the same shit.
Oh, it's a big
It'd
motherfucker.
be
Oh, it's
weird.
only 6.44. Large amount big.
Dude, I can't reel this fucking thing in. What's going on here? Oh, I got a
Uh,
largemouth bass.
See,
All right, there we go.
Garain says I spent 3,000 on a gaming PC, barely used it. It just wasn't for me. Logros says Xbox are doing it to themselves. They're the ones pushing PC, and I do have to partly agree with Logros here. And I've said, because I've said this before. I said mistake number one. I mean, it's certain, like, as a brand, Xbox has never been stronger as a brand. I even did a video on this months ago. As a brand, Xbox has never been stronger. But as a console manufacturer, they're hurting. And the reason why, because they diluted the value of the Xbox by putting their games on PC. They started giving people options and choices you're interested in. That's probably a good thing. But for, like, the problem is a lot of people already had a PC. And I think Microsoft was looking at that market. They're like, well, a lot of people already own one, or they're planning to buy one. And if we can get our games on that platform, we're going to make more money, because it basically ups our install base. That's how they looked at it. But as a console, now the incentive to go into the store and buy an Xbox, because if you were a PC guy and you couldn't play Gears or Halo or Forza or Quantum Break or Cuphead on a PC, what would you have to do? You would ultimately be forced to buy an Xbox. It's that simple. Why do you think all the PC guys have a PlayStation? Because they can't get the fucking PlayStation games on their PC. It's simple math. It's just, like I said, as a brand, Microsoft is making money hand over fist. But, it has diluted the value of the Xbox console. That's all I'm trying to say. Whether you like it or not, it is the nature of the beast right now, and it's never going to go away, because ultimately the whole industry, and Microsoft might be leading the forefront, but trust me when I say the whole industry is eventually going to start pushing games as a service, where they're going to try to take the games away from traditional consoles, and they're going to try to put them in the market space of, like, their storefronts. Go into the Microsoft store to buy stuff, to go online to their service to stream and to download. That's where they want people, because one, it cuts out the piracy. They can control the inventory. They get to control the prices. Ultimately, it gives them more control. It makes them more money. They cut out the middleman. Fans kind of win, and they win essentially in a lot of ways. It's just, as if you're a fan of a console, you don't have that fanboy console war argument anymore, because there won't be consoles to really essentially argue about. And that's ultimately where we're going.
Yeah, in the end of the day, Microsoft, the only reason why they're still in the game, in my opinion, and the reason why they're investing the $1 billion into gaming is because they see it as gaming, not only in the console space. If you've read the quotes from Phil Spencer, he's made it clear that it's not just consoles that they're worried about. They're worried about gaming in general.
Yes.
And, for a lot of people, it's hard for them to hear that, because they feel like, the console is going to be left behind. But it's facts are facts. Microsoft's in the business of making money, and they're going to make the decisions that they feel is going to be, going to help them make more money. So it is what it is. I think some people aren't going to be fans of that, and they'll probably leave the brand because of it, because they're not all about it. I've said my piece when it comes to crossplay with PC. I am off that ship. I said it was okay in the past. I thought it was okay, but now with the cheating that we're seeing with Sea of Thieves, with PC players, and then the fact that they went, with PUBG, they went back on the idea of having mouse and keyboard. Crossplay is just bad in general for console players, So
it needs to be optional,
it is what it is.
not a forced thing. That's the thing. I think the options, they're great, but don't force on some. And lastly, and this is again going, the thing is, in the video games market, we like, as console gamers primarily, we look at the competition as being Xbox versus Switch versus PlayStation, right? Because they're consoles. But the bottom, whether it's a cell phone, whether it's a streaming service on your TV, anything that can take your money is competition, okay? And that's the bottom line. Because if you look at the restaurant business, like, fucking the keg. The keg doesn't care if you're going to McDonald's or where, because as long as you're not spending money with them, it's competition. You know, you might feel like a burger, someone else might feel like a steak, but the bottom line is there's only so much disposable income. Everybody's competing for those dollars. So the bottom line is gaming competition is everywhere now. It's Amazon, it's Google, it's fucking Facebook, it's anything that can take your money is competition. And we don't look at it that way, but it is, and it's the truth. And that's why game companies are expanding out. And if you don't think that's true, look at the reason why the Vita failed. Was it because Nintendo actually killed them? No, the biggest reason the Vita also failed was because when the Vita came out, the Vita was just a hard sell, because the cell phone market had really become so advanced that a lot of the games that the casual people were playing, they could play them on cell phone and they didn't care. And Vita had to compete against fucking 99-cent games, cheap $0 games. This is what they had to go up against. Nintendo was part of the equation, and Nintendo was doing phenomenally well because the 3DS and Nintendo's consoles have always had a reputation, right? But I mean, if you look at the hardcore gamers, there wasn't much out there for the hardcore. Vita tried for a while, but just never got the user base, especially in North America. And ultimately, Sony just kind of pulled the plug. It's like, we can't compete with these fucking free-to-play game models and all of these cell phone games, which were taking up a large chunk of the market. And that was a big reason. I think I saw an article about that, how cell phone gaming was killing traditional gaming, and it is true. And it's even taken a large chunk away right now from like consoles, because now people are playing Fortnite and they're going to play PUBG and they're playing these games on their phone, and I know that they're not the same. Okay, I'm not stupid. I know they're not the same. But at the same time, if somebody now starts investing all their money into a phone to play PUBG, they're not on the Xbox anymore. They're not on their PC. And if they're buying microtransactions, if and when there are microtransactions, they're going to probably buy them for their phone, right? So, like, you have to look outside the box. Microsoft, as you said, Salty, Microsoft has been notorious for trying to lead the way, but unfortunately, they either seem to always be, like, too early or too late. And they're always trying to get that lightning in a bottle kind of thing, and it's tough. Like, Nintendo has hit lightning in a bottle with Switch, and it's largely because the Switch was a hybrid. If Switch was a straight up console that had no portable features, you tell me, would Switch be as successful today? Salty, what do you think?
No. Hell no.
Hell no. There you go. You answer the question in 1 second.
No.
Switch would not, mark my words, be a successful console right now, the way it is, if it was just a straight up home console. Because what makes Switch unique is the fact you can take a AAA experience from Nintendo, and also because Nintendo games are only available on Nintendo. You can't get them on a PC. You can't get them somewhere else. If you want Mario Odyssey, you got to buy a Switch, and it's portable. You can take it on the road. You can play with your family. That is why Switch has carved itself a market. And now that the third-party stuff is starting to come, Switch is fucking just a juggernaut. It's rolling downhill at a massive speed. Will it come to an end at some point? It's hard to say. It really depends on how well the hardcore gamers get behind it in the long run and buy those games. So we're going to open up the chat now, guys. Thanks for everybody for hanging out with us here tonight. You've been absolutely amazing. Salty has been a fantastic guest. We're going to open up the floor to some gaming questions or general questions if you want.
Fishing tips. We can give you some fishing tips if you guys want that.
Fishing tips. You can look at Salty. He's weirdo fishing. He's got a face mask on here. Two Bears is good stuff. Newf and Salty, thank you, Two Bears. We appreciate the love and support. Go ahead, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to open them up. Are you waiting for Red Dead Redemption? I think Spider-Man asks this question every week. So, Red Dead, are you excited?
Me? Yeah, hell yeah. I honestly, man, I think that's gonna be game of the year. I mean, what other game's gonna beat it? And games are actually moving their release dates to avoid Red Dead 2, so I think it's just gonna be a monster. I think they're gonna take all the good things about GTA 5 and up the ante and add some cool things that you can only see in Red Dead, you know, with the old Western feel to it. The world's gonna be 4 times bigger than what the original game was, or even bigger than that. They're gonna, I hope they have a lot of heist involved, and I hope the story is just as good as the first one. But I have yet to, come across someone or gamer that said that they weren't excited for Red Dead. If you're not excited for it, you're a fraud. Just pointing out. No, I'm just kidding. Not everybody's gonna be excited for it, but yeah.
Thibodeau says, "How can you drink a beer, reel in a fish at the same time?" I'll give me my version of the answer. The same way you can drink a beer and jerk off at the same time, man. You just gotta keep the two hands going at the same time, and that's right. Let it out, reel it in.
Here's the real answer for me. You get that hat that has the beer with the straws coming down your mouth, and then you just, you can fish freely after that point, That's how I do it. Wait, am I getting attacked?
Yeah, somebody's like throwing bombs at or something. It's an acquired skill, it is. Jareen says, Salty said you are a Star Wars fan. What's your favorite character in the Star Wars universe? That's a great question.
Okay, this is an easy one. Jar Jar Binks. I mean, because he's the best character ever. No, I'm just kidding. Luke Skywalker. I mean, the guy is fucking legend. Not the Luke Skywalker from The Last Jedi, mind you, because they made him into a baby back bitch. So we'll pretend like that's not hashtag not my Luke Skywalker.
Miles from Normal,
yeah,
thanks
Luke
for showing up. He
mine.
says Vader. Drain says Yoda. Miles from
Vader
Normal.
is a beast.
Miles from Normal. Sorry, Miles from Normal in the chat. Thanks, buddy, for tuning in. I meant to bring you up earlier, but the chat's going along further than I can get in.
Yoda's definitely a big one. Yoda is probably one of my favorites as well, man. The little green bastard with the pointy ears, especially the way they portrayed him in the prequels. Flipping around and doing lightsaber battles. Dude is a fucking beast, man. So, yeah, for sure.
You know what? I'm going to say my favorite character to me, to be quite honest, and maybe nobody ever picks him, is going to be the standard Stormtrooper. Actually, not the Stormtrooper, the Biker Scouts. I've always loved the Biker Scouts from Return of the Jedi. I thought their suits were cool. I love the actual... What? No, not the green guys. The white ones that rode the... And they had
Did they have camo on, dude? I swear to God, they had camo, dude.
No, that was in the Force. That was in. They looked like Biker Scouts, and they were in that. What was that other movie? The Rogue Squadron. They looked a lot alike.
Okay.
Stinking Corpses, the Imperial Guard. Oh, the fucking red guys that used to defend the Emperor there. Those guys are pretty cool. Didn't do much. Newf loves.
They didn't do much.
Ola from the
so you're going off of looks, or damn? I got fucking.
Oh, is that big fat lady in Return to Jedi, Timodos, the one that's like dancing around in Jabba's hut? There, she got the big pancake titties. Is that the one? Well, if you're gonna go that far, I'm gonna say that blue dancer, the one that they fed to the fucking Rancor. She was kind of hot. She had the weird headdress, but she was kind of hot.
What, the chick that's dancing in Jabba's palace?
Yeah, the blue girl that sort of had the weird head garment, and they fed her to the fucking Rancor.
Yep.
Lady Foxfire's still here. She's like, wow. Lady Fox just chimes in whenever we start getting to like the dirty parts. Eh? It's hilarious. Oh, no chills. Always no chills. 24/7, Lady Fox.
We won't
goes.
tell you guys what Newf was doing behind the scenes after you watched the movie with the.
No chills you have. Yes, no chills.
No chills.
Eric the Red says Darth Maul is one of the most epic characters since Darth Vader. I don't know if there's been anyone as cool as Darth Maul. It's kind of weird how a lot of the epic characters... Darth Maul was definitely a fucking badass. The epic characters in Star Wars, they always die weird ways. Like Boba Fett. Is anybody else really disappointed with the way Boba Fett went out? Like, here he is, this badass bounty hunter, and the way he dies is an accidental hit to his backpack, and he flies right into the Sarlacc pit. And you're like, what the hell? SML909 says, you guys are a blast. Thank you, SML. We greatly appreciate it, brother. This is Mixing It Up with Newf. We're just shooting the breeze, having a good time, and talking games. It's like a podcast / stream all at the same time. Any more questions for the chat? Yes, Logros Guts, do you think the next generation is close? He says he doesn't. When do you think we might see that next console? Saw these lots of rumors lately.
2020. That's my guess, man. Okay, that's what I've been saying from the beginning, man.
Spider-Man says 2020. Anybody else? Anybody think 1 for 2020? Let's go 1 for 2019, 2 for 2020, and 3 for 2021. There you go. Logos says 2021. I'm thinking 2020. That's my call. 2020 as well. Logos says 3. SML says 20 as well. Irrelevant Native says, what do you call two transgender midgets having sex?
Oh God.
I have no idea. Irrelevant, what is it?
I don't even want to know.
Ray Coco says two. I got a joke for you,
Almost got it
Irrelevant.
with a grenade launcher.
And please don't kill me for this joke. It's not meant to be offensive, but I know it will offend somebody. What's the difference between
microtransactions?
What's the difference between a gay man and a refrigerator? A refrigerator doesn't fart when you pull the meat out.
Oh God.
Oh man.
Newf's gonna be getting hate messages in his fucking DMs now.
When will Elder Scrolls 6 be announced? That is a good question. I have no fucking idea. Nobody knows with Bethesda, but isn't that the beauty of Bethesda? Like they could literally fucking like just go boom. You know what I mean? Like slap the announcement.
Hey,
remember
the Fallout announcement? What happened? Banned. Oh God.
Blocking you all. Well, here's one for you, Lady Foxfire, to make you feel better. Why shouldn't a woman wear fucking those yoga pants with flowers? Because guys will only stop and stare at her tulips. There you go. There you go. That's why you should never wear yoga pants with flowers. All right. Last question, guys. We're going to get ready to wrap it up. Actually, there was one little quick topic before we do the question. I forgot about this one. Tomorrow, apparently, Inside Xbox is tomorrow. Salty, what do you think we're going to see on that show? They obviously showed an old Xbox logo, so something tells me it has something to do with maybe the original Xbox back compats. What do you think?
All I gotta say is whatever they do, Xbox fans are gonna have a shit fit about it. They're gonna be disappointed in it. So,
yeah,
who fucking knows, right? I mean, backwards compatibility shit. Hopefully they'll talk about State of Decay a little bit more. What else, dude?
Lady Fox says, SML says KOTOR 2. Lady Fox says OG Xbox achievements. I think we did hear maybe a rumor about that. Do you think that's possible?
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, definitely would add some extra life to the games and would definitely make people go and play them, because we certainly know how our good buddy Crap Gamer, he fucking loves games. He doesn't play his Switch very much. Yeah, who knows? Either which way, don't expect a whole lot. I think that's what the message we got from the first Inside Xbox is: just don't overthink things. If there's going to be any big announcements at this point, it will be waited for E3, because they're not gonna sell the ship short right now this close. So it'll just be something, minuscule. And I think this show is only going to be like a half an hour long, as opposed to the other one, which is like almost 2 hours. So
let's just say this: it's not going to be anywhere near what Nintendo Direct was ever. Like them announcing, or like a teasing Smash Brothers and shit. That's never going to happen on Xbox, so just get disappointed right now. That's the suggestion I give you guys. Just be disappointed right now, and then you can get it out of the way.
Two Bears says it perfectly. Set your expectations low, and you can be only pleased. Yes, I used to have a motto like that in life. What was it? What was my motto? Was or was it? What was he say? Sell. Was it over? Was it under promise and over deliver? That was the one thing I've always learned. Under promise and over deliver. You always look like the good guy instead of over promising and under deliver. Yes, so pretty much the same
undersell and over deliver.
Yeah, they might show Eric the Red, like State of Decay 2. I would definitely think they might show something on that, especially since PAX East is happening or just clued up. So they'll probably have some info from PAX, probably a little bit of State of Decay 2, and definitely something to do with OG Xbox and the games that are coming out, I would say. And will Major Nelson wear the white gloves, according to Grey Coco? God only knows. He probably wears those when he goes to the washroom, that guy. I don't know. He got them available for everything. So, I don't know. But great show, guys. I think that brings us to the end of the last chance to ask one more question to Salty before we clue this up. We're closing in on the 2-hour mark here. It's been a fantastic episode of Mixing Up a Newf. Spider-Man says, great show. Last chance to ask one more question. Anybody else has a question? And next week's show, I don't know which my guest is going to be yet, but I might do a giveaway next week. We'll see how things go. and all that good stuff. So last chance to ask a question. Salty, do you have anything you'd like to add to the program before we take off?
Yeah, just tune into the Saltiest podcast this Thursday. Yeah. It's
That's what
definitely going to be a
Irrelevant
nice
said.
show. It's on my channel. Yeah. Get hyped for it.
Get hyped.
Should be a fun time. Get hyped.
Yes.
Stay
And
stay salty as usual.
I will just say, hopefully I can say this, but I will just say, guys, stay tuned here very shortly because me and Salty, we're going to have some really cool news, I think, coming your way here very soon. We can't give away anything yet, but just say stay tuned, keep it locked to our Twitters and stuff because we're going to have something. So, yeah, this is the end of the podcast, Salty. Let everybody know. Miles from Normal, thank you so much for the support. SML, Spider-Man, Stinking Corpse, Lady Foxfire, Two Bears up in the chat. We've had Siberia in here. Holy fuck, who's been in here tonight? Irrelevant Native has been up in here. We got a lot of great people, guys. If I'm missing anybody, please forgive me. You guys are always Garain, Eric the Red. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Like I said, too many to mention, and I can't remember everybody's name right off the top of my head. Timodos has been in here. Thank you very much. Yes, Timodos is fantastic, guys. Make sure you follow that guy. Lady Foxfire. Much love indeed. So, Salty, let everybody know where they can find you, brother.
Yeah, Saltiest Gaming, 2 words. That's my YouTube channel. I do videos pretty much daily, not really. But if the news warrants a video, I'll put it out. I don't put a video out just to put it out. Yeah, the Saltiest podcast, 8:30 Eastern Thursdays. It's an awesome show. It's an Xbox-centric podcast, but it's not really like that because we had like a majority PlayStation topics last week. So whatever is fresh and exciting in the gaming news area is what we'll be talking about. It's a blast in the chat. It's just a chill, crack a beer, talk about games type of atmosphere. So check that out. Find me on Twitter, Saltiest Gaming. The I is a 1. And yeah, I had a blast, dude. Thanks for having me on, man.
Oh, man, it was a pleasure. I couldn't wait to get you on. Sorry it took me 14 episodes in to get you here, but fucking it's fantastic. And I'm hoping to get more people from the community onto this program, all that stuff, man. And the difference between me and Salty is Salty knows his shit and I'm just plain shit. But either which way, we're stinking it up in here, people. That's how it goes.
Hey, shout out to Fox.
We're having a good time.
Shout out to Fox,
awesome.
Man. She said Salty is awesome. She's even more awesome. You guys are all awesome. Thanks for being here. Make sure you share this shit out, man. Let's grow Newf's mixer shit, man. He deserves it. All right.
Just so you guys know, I will have this up tomorrow evening on my VOD. I'm going to be at work tomorrow, so it's going to be a little bit late. But I will put these replays up on the VOD, and it will be on my YouTube channel. So if you want to share it with people, if they missed the podcast, couldn't be with us live, fantastic. It'd greatly be appreciated because this is what I do week in, week out. You'll find me Monday nights, guys, with Mixing It Up with Newf. I'll have another entertaining guest again for you guys coming up next Monday, all that good stuff. So SML 909, I want to say thank you as well to Duval's Finest up in the chat and here, guys. Again, you guys are fantastic. I appreciate your love and support, and hopefully my mixer will continue to grow because this is kind of what I really like doing, and I think it's fantastic that we can share this with the community and introduce people to new gamers that maybe you've never met before, maybe you've never experienced their content before. So that is it for us. We're going to end this Far Cry 5. Hope you enjoyed the stream as well. It's a great game. Go pick it up if you get a chance. It is phenomenal. I think if you like Far Cry at all, you're in for a real treat with number 5. So we're going to leave it at that, and good stuff, guys. Miles from Normal, thank you so much. You guys all have a great night. We'll see you on the next one. This is episode number 14, Mixing It Up with Newf. Our guest, Saltiest Game is Salty. Thank you so much for being here, brother. You were fantastic.
No problem, man.